And the two-headed monster for the Tigers, that is Miguel Cabrera, the third baseman, and first baseman Prince Fielder. What a series it has been already. On Friday, Reds up 1-0 early. Joey Votto with a long three-run homer to straightaway center. 4-0 Cincinnati. The Tigers roar back, take the lead in the 8th on Delman Young's home run. The Reds tie it and then win it in the 10th as Miguel Cairo triples to lead off the inning. And an out later, he will score on a safety squeeze by Wilson Valdez. The Reds beat the Tigers 6-5. Yesterday, it was the Prince Fielder show, a solo home run. His 10th of the season coming up Bronson Arroyo. The Tigers lead early 2-0 with the game tied at 2 in the 8th. After an intentional walk to Miguel Cabrera, Fielder strikes again, an RBI single to center, scoring in the go-ahead run as the Tigers beat the Reds 3-2 and even up the series at a win apiece. Let's check out the standings now for these two teams. The Tigers are not where most expected them to be. They're in third place, under 500, 5.5 back in the American League Central. The Reds are the leaders of the National League Central. Don't look now. The Pirates are hot, and they are just a half game back. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Cincinnati. Dan Schulman along with Terry Francona and Oral Hershiser. And yes, the Tigers have had their problems. They've had injuries. They've had hitters not doing what you'd expect them to do. Their defense hasn't been very good. The bullpen hasn't been as good as they thought it would be. But they do have some good things going for them, and those things are Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder.
They have the two guys right in the middle of the order. Miguel Cabrera is a production machine. He's on pace for about 140 RBIs. He hits for average, he hits for power, and Prince Fielder behind him is going to drive in over 100 runs. He's also going to hit 300. Again, that's not the problem. Those two guys in the middle are as productive as any two American League hitters in the league.
Now, the Reds have their share of issues as well, most of them really revolving around injuries. But one guy who's healthy and is right now as productive as anybody in baseball is Joey Votto.
Yeah, Joey Votto is the superstar of this team. He's so productive. He's so patient. One of the most intimidating things a hitter can do is he can take a walk. Well, he leads the league in that. He leads in on-base percentage. And the way he intimidates people is once he's not patient and swings the bat, he leads the league in slugging percentage. He's definitely the Reds MVP, and he's probably going to be one of the top MVPs in the league again.
And a guy who gets a great viewpoint about how well Joey Votto has been hitting, the guy who hits right behind him on most nights, Brandon Phillips, standing by with a Buster Olney.
Brandon, Joey Votto in his last 50 at-bats, 28 hits, 7 walks. He's on a pace to break a 81-year-old record for doubles. How would you describe what you've seen this year?
Oh, it's very impressive. You know, just being on deck behind him. I'm so used to just being in front of him, being on base, him driving me in. But now I have a different role for myself, trying to protect him a little bit. But, you know, when in key situations, whatever, they just walk him. But the thing is, when he's at the bat, he sees maybe a couple pitches and he puts a good swing on it. And it's very impressive, man. I mean, the dude can just hit. And I'm just happy he's on our team and he's doing a great job.
Now, tonight you're facing a pitcher, Drew Smyly of the Tigers, you've never seen before. In these situations, how do you prepare?
Well, you know, you just look at the videos and then you see where his out pitch is and you try to go up there and just hit the ball where it's pitched, try to have a nice approach and, try to put a good swing on the ball, just hoping that he leaves me some mistakes and hopefully I can do something with it. And, me and Bruce was talking about it. He was like, hey, Brandon, he might not throw you anything because he got me hitting behind him. So I was like, whatever, Bruce, don't say that, man. But, so hopefully I can get something to hit.
Brandon, thanks.
Buster, great job bringing him out of his shell. Brandon Phillips has another career ahead of him at some point. Interleague baseball has caught the fancy of Tiger fans. There are a lot of them, and have been a lot of them here over the weekend at Great American Ballpark. They're hoping to see their beloved Tigers win this series with a win tonight. Miguel Cabrera's in the house. Prince Fielder homered yesterday. Joey Votto is red hot. They're all on the field tonight. Sunday Night Baseball is next. Presentation of the ALNL Showdown presented by State Farm.
Cincinnati is used to being first. First city of the Midwest. First with a professional baseball team. First night game, first on television. We built the machine. Went back to back. And wire to wire. This town, this team, we're used to being first.
And a high fly ball. It is out of here. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Beautiful ballpark here in downtown Cincinnati. Great American ballpark in its 10th season as the home of the Reds. The first place Cincinnati Reds right now, the visiting Detroit Tigers. And the Reds ready to go. We've got the two winningest active managers in baseball here. There's number 1, Jim Leyland. Number 2, Dusty Baker, is across the field. Leyland's won better than 1,600 games, and Dusty Baker better than 1,500. Let's take a look now at the Tigers starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Austin Jackson just back off the DL from an oblique injury, his second game back on the active roster. And look at how hot both Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder have been lately. They have been doing their jobs for the Tigers. They just need some of the support players, some of the guys around them, to do theirs a little bit better to pick up the offensive numbers. Here's a bit of a riddle, and he has been, Oral, for a few years now, right-hander Homer Bailey.
Yeah, he has great stuff. He started to mix his pitches a little better. That's why the stats have gotten better. But he's coming off a rough outing against Pittsburgh where he only went 3 innings, gave up 8 hits. So this is a get back on the beam outing for him. And we'll know real early if he's on it, because if he gets off to a hot start, he usually can stay on.
It's been a very warm weekend. This is probably the coolest of the 3 days, and playing a night game doesn't hurt. Nice night for a ball game tonight as Austin Jackson steps in. And a swing and a miss to get it started. The count 0-1 on Jackson, the Tigers center fielder. Jackson got off to a great start this year. Took his game to a whole new level before suffering the injury about 3 weeks ago. It's a ground ball in the hole, backhanded nicely by Cozart, the rookie shortstop, who throws him out, 1 down. A chance to look at the Reds defense right now with Drew Stubbs out for a few days with an oblique injury. Chris Heisey is filling in center field. Ryan Ludwig getting a start in left. Brandon Phillips has won 3 Gold Gloves, and he's only committed 2 errors this year. And rookie Devin Mesoraco is doing the catching tonight for the Reds with Homer Bailey on the mound. Mesoraco and Cozart, a first-place team, kind of unusual. They've got a rookie shortstop, an everyday player, and the catcher is a part-time player as a rookie. As Quentin Berry shows bunt, he takes outside, ball 1. Berry, a late addition into the Tiger lineup tonight. Brennan Bosch tweaked his ankle sliding into home plate yesterday. Bosch was just starting to hit finally, but he's out tonight, and Berry gets a start. He got the call-up, Tito, when Austin Jackson went on the DL, and one thing we've seen on Baseball Tonight and everywhere else, he can go get them in the outfield.
You know what? They can really use his speed. He's got a chance to play. He's got 7 stolen bases. It gives him a little other dimension. Now with him and Austin Jackson together, it gives him a little bit of team speed.
Which is something they do not have very much of at all. They can thump, or the idea was that they were going to bash and that they were going to get great pitching. Verlander, the reigning MVP, Cy Young. Valverde didn't blow a save last year, but the pitching numbers have not quite been what they were a year ago, nor have the hitting numbers, especially for this team. Swing and a miss, 2 down.
Homer Bailey responding to a bad start against Pittsburgh, his last one here, trying to cut the ball a little bit inside. Ball came back over the plate, but made him swing and miss anyway. That'd have been a mistake if he doesn't swing and miss. That ball was supposed to be inside and end up down the middle of the plate.
It had been a mistake if Miguel Cabrera was at the plate, right?
Yeah.
And here he is with 2 outs, nobody on, hitting .317. Takes just outside, ball 1.
And he's going to get his hits. You just want him to be singles and doubles.
Pitching in this kind of a ballpark, Oral, and you pitch in many different places. Facing a hitter like this in a ballpark like this, you got to be awfully good to keep it in the yard.
Yeah, because he has the power to hit it out anywhere, and almost anybody in the lineup really can hit it to right field or left field. The thing is to make him hit it on the ground.
At the belt for a strike, 2-1.
Haven't seen a lot of balls leave the ball yard when they're hit on the ground. So I'll tell you what, facing these two guys, like Tito said, they're going to get their hits. You just don't want them to cause damage.
With the cutter, missed down and away. 3 balls and a strike. Now on Cabrera with the equally dangerous Prince Fielder looming in the on-deck circle. And it's ball 4.
I don't mind that walk as long as you get the third out in this inning without giving up any runs. Getting these two guys out of the way. 2 out, man on first, not a bad time to face Prince.
Fielder homered yesterday, his 10th of the season. Cabrera at first with 2 down. Fielder 5th in the American League in batting average, 7th in RBIs. Make it 6th now after the results of today's games, and 7th in the league in RBIs. They shift to a certain extent, Tito, but they don't have 3 on the right side of the infield.
No, but they're certainly, letting him have the third base line because he's thinking one thing here. He wants to pull this ball and hit it a long way. But they don't have the shortstop on the second base side.
And a weak roller to the left side. Cozart with time, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, a walk and a man left. To the bottom of the first, the Reds coming up. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And in part by the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. CenturyLink, a different kind of communications company. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And the makers of One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball, specially formulated for men. Brisk business at the team shop here at Great American Ballpark. Beautiful stadium, really, just right on the river. Great sight lines, big crowds this weekend to see Dusty Baker and the Reds take on the Detroit Tigers. The Reds first place in the NL Central, 32-26, a half game ahead of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And let's take a look now at the Reds starting lineup tonight, brought to you by Taco Bell. And most of the thunder comes from the 3-4-5. Joey Votto's on a ridiculous hitting streak right now. 547 in his last 15 games. Brandon Phillips is hot. He's the cleanup hitter to split the lefties. Jay Bruce with a lot of power. 13 home runs this season. He will bat 5th. On the mound for the Tigers, rookie left-hander Drew Smiley.
22-year-old drafted in 2010. This young pup on the mound is the guy who filled into the 5th starter spot for these Tigers. He got off to a hot start at the beginning of the year. The second half of this year so far for him, his last 5 or 6 starts have not been as good.
is 22 years of age, out of the University of Arkansas. The left-hander Smiley facing Zach Cozart, the shortstop, fellow rookie. And the leadoff spot, for the most part, has not been a very productive one at all for the Cincinnati Reds. And Cozart has given that spot, Tito, a little bit of life. He's got some pop, a little bit of speed, and they really like his defense.
And their lineup can grind you down a little bit like an American League lineup.
Cozart is gone.
You know, as yesterday, watching the way they battled Verlander, I mean, they made Verlander pitch 6 really tough innings.
Now look at the defense for the Tigers tonight. Austin Jackson is mentioned in his second game back off the DL. Second base has been a revolving door for the Tigers. Danny Wirth will get the start tonight for Detroit. And with Alex Avila on the disabled list with a hamstring problem, Gerald Laird gets the start behind the plate. Well, never mind, you can't go a week with talking about injuries. You can't go a half inning in baseball these days, no matter who the teams are, without talking about injuries. Here's Chris Heisey in center field, because Drew Stubbs has an injury. He's got an abdominal situation. He was out before the game, but it looks like he's still a few days away, not on the DL. Heisey moving from left field to center field to fill in for Stubbs. Both teams with significant injuries, but then again, who isn't these days?
And Jim Leland talked before the game about how they've played so many games this year with maybe 2 extra guys on the bench, and at one point one guy, and how difficult it is to get through a game, especially in the National League.
3-1 the count on Heisey. No score, bottom of the first. Joey Votto on deck, 1 down. And the ball popped up and back out of play just to our right and up into the upper deck, where evidently, judging by the ovation, a nice catch was made. There's Votto, who has been on a tear all year, really, but as we mentioned, hitting over 500 his last 15 games. And a fly ball to shallow center, 2 down. So Bailey got a chance to face Cabrera with 2 outs, nobody on. And now Smiley will have the same situation there for the #1 guy in this town, Joey Votto, hitting .362 with an on-base percentage of .484, and does something he doesn't do very often: swings at the first pitch.
He swings at everything over the plate. He makes you throw strikes, and then he makes you pay.
You're so right, Tito. You know, when you watch him hit, it just seems like he reads the ball so well and doesn't really swing at any bad pitches. He had one of the uglier at bats off of
Phil Coke
yep. The other night, where it really was the worst I've ever seen him. And he's putting these stats up not only against starters that are in the game because they're pitching well, but then 1 or 2 left-handed specialists and a closer.
Pulls the ball to first. Tricky hop for Fielder. Feeds Smiley covering. Votto retired, and the inning is over as the Reds go 1-2-3. Provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Back to the top of the second here in Cincinnati. Dan Schulman, Terry Francona, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney. Sunday night baseball on ESPN. The Tigers and the Reds are scoreless as we go to the second on an 84-degree evening. Homer Bailey facing Delmon Young. And a strike called by the home plate umpire tonight, Angel Hernandez. Young in left field will do a lot of DHing when the Tigers are playing American League games. Don't have that luxury here in the National League Park. And this is a guy, and there, to be fair, there are a number of them who the Tigers expected certain numbers from this year, and they're not getting those numbers. Little number, it is a fair ball. Not a great throw by Mesoraco, but enough to get the job done. One down. So what are some of the struggles that the Tigers have been having this year? Well, injuries play a part, of course. Jackson's just off the DL. Fister's been on for a while. Avila just went on. Brennan Bosch, a breakout candidate, a lot of us thought. He has struggled. They've gotten virtually no offensive production at second base. And Jose Valverde didn't blow a save all last year. Blew one on opening day this year and blew a couple more after that. The Tiger bullpen hasn't been as good as it was a year ago. So the problems are really multi-layered. And after a 9-3 start, this one's surprising. After a 9-3 start, since then, the Tigers are 18-29, and over that stretch, that's the worst record of any team in the American League. There's just too much talent here for that to happen.
But and as Jim Leland alluded to today, I mean, they're really missing Doug Fister. I mean, he wouldn't make excuses. But when you're trying to carry two young pitchers in a staff, it gets difficult. You can hide one, but it's tough with two.
Ramon Santiago takes inside.
They were supposed to be very strong in the starting rotation with guys that go very deep. Supposed to then have some solid setup men with Joaquin Benoit and Octavio Dotel, and then a supreme closer who was 100% last year, and then an offense that could bludgeon you.
You saw Fister there alongside of Max Scherzer. He's on the DL for the second time this year, and there was some talk maybe that he would come off the DL and start on Wednesday. Jim Leland said before the game that is not going to happen. So he's at least a few days away, and he was just lights out for them a year ago after the trade with Seattle.
He really understands how to pitch, and a good teammate. I mean, you can say a lot of good things about him. They need him. And to hear Jim Leland speak that openly about how much they needed him, I thought spoke volumes.
Yeah, they need him because, you know, Drew Smiley on the mound tonight has done a great job for a guy who could be filling in the fifth hole, a puppy at 22 years old. But of all the starters in the big leagues that have gone at least 10 starts, he has never seen or gotten an out in the seventh inning yet. So that's a lot of work on your bullpen.
Santiago gone, 2 down. Good start for Homer Bailey, keeping the ball down nicely so far.
Homer Bailey is really starting to mature and really start to understand his tools and how to apply them. He really came to the big leagues more as a thrower, and as he started to command the ball, he'd run into some shoulder tenderness or some tendonitis or stiffness, and then all of a sudden he couldn't command it, but he was well enough to pitch. And now he's got a combination of both. He's commanding the ball and he's healthy. And he has really learned the value of pitching to contact and not trying to strike everyone out.
Two down. Gerald Blair, the catcher, is the batter for the Tigers. As mentioned, Alex Avila's on the DL right now with a hamstring issue, so Laird gets a chance to play a lot more than he normally plays. Avila, they're hoping it'll be just the minimum 15 days and he'll be back soon. Chopper toward third. Todd Frazier inning over. 3 up, 3 down go the Tigers to the bottom of the second in a scoreless game.
centuries-old rivalry. France and England take the battle to the pitch once again. It's not to be missed. Les Bleus and the Three Lions tomorrow at Euro 2012 live on ESPN.
Earlier today, as you saw on ESPN, a draw between Italy and Spain. Tomorrow, the match you just heard Bob Lee talking about, France and England, and then Ukraine and Sweden a little bit later on tomorrow afternoon.
You know, Dan, everybody knows England's a big underdog. With Wayne Rooney being suspended, the guy to watch is Ashley Young.
Yeah, but France is unbeaten in 21 matches, so watch out.
I am impressed.
And that's all I have.
We emptied the holster.
If you want to know more, you got to watch.
Bottom of the second inning. Here's Brandon Phillips to lead it off for the Reds. No score between Detroit and Cincinnati. Brandon Phillips, Buster Olney's pregame interview guest, and very nearly Buster Olney's in-game interview guest. He's a talkative young man, as anybody who's on Twitter knows. And Mr. Phillips likes to interact with the public. He's got a lot of personality.
His legs must have been loose because he was in no hurry to leave.
Hitting .266, 6 home runs on the season. Slaps one the other way, and it's in and out of the glove of Barry. Phillips on his way to second, and in there. And Barry's still down on a knee.
He might have just knocked the wind out of himself right there, just diving. Trying to catch his breath. Made a really nice effort.
Yes, he did. He got a great jump. He laid out for it and got his glove to it. And the jarring of when he hit the ground knocked it out. And then that's something, even though a guy's hurt, they're going to go get the ball first.
And a double for Phillips to get the inning started. That brings up Jay Bruce. Barry collecting himself out in right field. Bruce, as is often the case with him, streaky, a lot of power up and down. He's won a National League Player of the Week award this year. He's won 3 of them in his career, and Terry, he can have weeks you don't want to mess with him, and he can have weeks where he can't buy a hit.
And he spoke about it, how he wants to try to gain some consistency, and how he's watched Joey Votto trying to attain that. And right here, you want him to pull the ball at worst. If he drives the run in, good, but he wants to have that runner on third base after this at bat.
You can see somewhat of a shift. Again, the shortstop, Santiago, not quite on the other side of the bag. Cabrera, the third baseman, still hanging around third base. Otherwise, Phillips just strolls in there. Big swing and a miss, 2-1. What Jay Bruce has not done well this year is produce with runners in scoring position. The Reds are a team, when you look at them, you figure they should be a better offensive team, really, than they are. They're 10th out of 16 teams in the National League in runs scored. And one of the reasons why, as a team, they have not done well with runners in scoring position. Votto, the big exception.
Brandon Phillips out there at second base. He came real close to getting a balk on young Drew Smiley.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Interesting with Bruce trying to look for some consistency, that he has been better as far as batting average against lefties than righties this year.
Trying to advance the runner. Phillips at second, nobody out. Lays off, down and away, and a full count. Some pretty good late movement, Bulldog, on that pitch.
Yeah, the interesting thing, the target was going to be up and in, but the ball got pulled low and away. I don't know if that was a complete miss or that was to mess with the location with Brandon Phillips on second base so that he would not relay the location.
And a breaking ball taken low for ball 4.
Early in the game, in a ballpark that lends itself to a lot of offense. I really don't like that walk left on left. I think you need to come after him right there. I'm not sure a 3-2 breaking ball is the exact right pitch. If you're going to throw it, try and really throw it for a strike and get an out, because even if Phillips moves over to third with less than 2 outs, you give up 1 run, it's a long way to go. You just got to keep the crooked numbers off the board in this ballpark.
First and second, nobody out. The Reds threatening. Jay Bruce drawing the walk, and the batter now is the left fielder Ryan Ludwig. Ludwig had some big years with St. Louis, drove in 113 runs back in 08, 97 the next year. Hot lately to bring up his overall numbers. And it's a strike at the knees, says Angel Hernandez. Ryan Ludwig does not agree.
And Ryan Ludwig can take some funny swings and look a little bit not overmatched at the plate, but then when you throw him something down, he's usually ready to hit it.
K-Zone agrees with Angel.
Ryan didn't, because he usually swings. If it's down, he likes it.
Now he's unhappy again. Got a fastball at or below the knees he didn't like, then a little slider that he felt was inside. He thinks it should be 2-0, and instead it's 0-2.
I don't think K-Zone's going to agree with Ryan or with Angel on this one. That one looked a little inside. Little cutter keeps coming, and just ends up missing the plate a little bit.
Boy, Ryan, I hope you're in swing mode right now.
Or you might get ejected after it's called strike.
Phillips at second, Bruce at first. And a swing and a miss at a ball in the dirt. The bat goes sailing into the seats behind the plate. And you can't have a much more frustrating at bat than Ryan Ludwig just had.
A good job by Drew Smyly and Gerald Laird, the combination of the battery for the Detroit Tigers. They know after those 2 strike calls and the confrontation between the hitter and the umpire that you don't have to throw a strike. And to break them all in the dirt gets you the javelin throw.
Man. So Ludwig strikes out for the first out of the inning. And now Smyly will face Todd Frazier, the third baseman tonight. Scott Rowland is on the DL. The left shoulder acting up again. Rowland getting closer, but still not just a few days away, a little bit further away than that. And Frazier's done a nice job. He's done an extraordinary job as a pinch hitter. 6 for 7 as a pinch hitter, and you can see overall he has been a contributor. Where'd that bat wind up? In Tiger Country. Now what happens between innings? They go, it's like an exchange. You make an offer? Or,
he may not want it back. He wants a mulligan.
Runners are going. Throw down to second and safe. Double steal for the Reds.
Brandon Phillips has made a lot of action out there at second base and really starting to time Drew Smyly. Smiley's been unflappable with all the movement, but Brandon's really timed him well here with 1 turn of the head. He was off, and Gerald Laird deciding to go to the trail runner after seeing how big a jump Phillips had. Neither one of them would have been thrown out.
So second and third, 1 out. The infield will play it back for the Tigers this early in the game. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Frazier. Got a piece. You like the aggressive base runner?
Yeah, I really do. It was very intelligent base running. I mean, he picked his spot. He timed him.
The bat is going back home. See if Ludwig wants it. Broken bat, flare, right field, base hit. Phillips in to score. Bruce in to score. 2-0 Cincinnati.
And again, he stays on this ball, and it gets in on him. As you can see, the bat flying over the third base dugout. But the base running, very good job by the runner at second. I mean, he watches it. Jay Bruce, that's where, again, give him credit for knowing where the outfielders are playing and not pulling up at third and scoring on that broken bat hit.
An early lead for the Reds, up 2-0 here in the bottom of the second. Frazier at first, one down. And a swing and a foul back by the catcher, Devin Mesoraco. A 23-year-old rookie. Had 50 at-bats with the Reds last year. Hit 180, hitting 184 so far this season. They feel he's got a lot of talent, plays the game with a lot of energy. Has some pop in his bat, hit 15 home runs at AAA last year. Runner going. Throw down, off the glove of Worth into shallow right field.
We got interference.
Third.
Yeah, we got interference. You could see it.
On the batter?
Yeah.
Yep. And they're going to send Frazier back to first.
After he swung, you could see his body took him over the plate a little bit. Watch when he misses. His weight, and as all the catcher does is have to make contact. The throw's impeded. You can see Angel Hernandez is all over the call right away. Watch. Angel will point right away after this throw.
So by sending him back, the runner back to first, they're saying it was inadvertent. It was not an intentional interference by Mesoraco. It was on the backswing.
You're not out.
Right. The runner's not out. If it was deemed intentional interference, the runner's out. But this is inadvertent on the backswing. Send the runner back to first.
And that's what Angel is explaining to Dusty right now. And I don't think Dusty's probably liking the explanation.
Does there have to be? Did the bat actually come back and hit Laird? I don't think the bat hit him on the backswing.
No, it's his body.
Oh, and they're calling Mesoraco out, so they're not saying it was backswing.
As soon as he comes over the home plate area.
As soon as he comes over the plate, you're right. Yeah.
Laird has to touch him, and that's what interference is.
Right.
You can be in front of him if you don't touch him. It's not interference.
All right, I didn't realize they had called Mesoraco out on the play.
Obviously, it's a pretty gray area,
yeah.
And you'll get different calls from different umpires, which I think is what's frustrating.
So Mesoraco is out. It's not inadvertent with the backswing. It's impeding the catcher's ability to throw by stepping out in front of him over the plate, and there was contact made on Laird's follow-through. So Mesoraco is out on interference.
And if you're the Reds, this is just what you're not looking for, is your catcher to be aggravated with the home plate umpire a half an inning into the game. And I think that's what Dusty's probably telling him right now is catch the game.
And 1-2.
And even though it's pretty obvious the Reds want to run, they won't run here. They want to get Homer Bailey's at bat out of the way and let Zach Cozart lead off the inning next inning.
And just to go through the rule, 606C, I'm sure you argued this once or twice. Yeah. A batter is out when he interferes with the catcher's fielding or throwing by stepping out of the batter's box or making any other movement that hinders the catcher's play at home base. So there you go. In the judgment of Angel Hernandez, Mesoraco was out of the batter's box and impeded Laird's ability to throw the ball to second.
Angel's been responsible for 2 of the outs this inning. Brian Ludwig's strikeout and the catcher interference call.
Sharply hit, but the shortstop Santiago is there. They'll force the runner and end the inning. Interesting half inning here in Cincinnati. A Baseball Tonight update when we come back. Let's take a look now with the best win percentages in interleague play since 2006, part of the AL-NL Showdown presented by State Farm. And the top 5 winning percentages in interleague play since '06 all belong to American League teams. The Tigers second, behind only the Red Sox. The American League is leading again this year. Not an overwhelming disparity, but they're winning more than they're losing right now. Interleague play will change to a certain extent. Great article on ESPN.com a couple of days ago by Jason Stark about how things will change next year when Houston moves into the American League and you've got 5 teams in each of the 6 divisions. The plan is, guys, for each team to play 20 interleague games next year. Now they play 15 or 18, so more interleague play. But it'll be spread over the entire season because you've got an odd number of teams in each league. Danny Worth, the batter, a fly ball to right field. 1 down. And 16 of those 20 games will be against another division, which means that, say you're a team in the American League East and I'm a team in the American League East, we will have virtually identical schedules against whatever division it is, the NL Central, the NL West. It'll be a lot more similar. 4 of the 20 interleague games will be against a natural rival. So really, at bare minimum, 15 of your 20 interleague games will be identical to every other team in your division. And then those 4 rivalry games probably will be 2-game series. As an example, say the White Sox would play a Monday, Tuesday at Wrigley, and then the Cubs would play a Wednesday, Thursday at U.S. Cellular, something like that. So it is a little more even. It's not going to be, why are these guys playing the Yankees 6 times and those guys aren't playing the Yankees at all?
So Dodgers, Angels, Yankees, Mets.
Yeah, those will still exist.
Cardinals, Kansas City.
Blue Jays, Expos.
Hey, you and I both like that one. So it's San Francisco, Oakland, obviously, Tampa Bay, Miami, Chicago, Milwaukee, Minnesota matchup as a natural rival. There are some teams that don't.
Who's Atlanta?
Well, and that's again,
Atlanta
there's some that doesn't.
Yeah.
They have to make them,
right?
Which we certainly understand.
Yeah. Detroit doesn't have a natural rival. They wind up with Pittsburgh a fair bit, it seems. Smiley with a bouncer toward third. 2 down. But I think what most people are happy about is the difficulty of your interleague schedule will be much more even as compared to other teams in your own division. It will be less unfair, I guess, is the best way to say it.
I think anybody in uniform, what they really want is to play the same schedule as your opponent, and then if you're good enough, you're good enough, and if you're not, but there's a lot of luck involved in the draw every year.
2 down, nobody on, 2-0. The Reds lead the Tigers in the top of the 3rd. Back to the top of the order for Austin Jackson. He grounded out his first time up. Once through the order, all that Bailey has allowed is a walk to Miguel Cabrera with 2 outs in the 1st.
And one of the things Jim Leland talked about getting Austin Jackson back was hoping he'd have the same stroke as before he went down, because he was really having a breakout year. Cutting down his strikeouts, he cut down his stride, he's on base, he's hitting for average, and then you get that little stint on the DL where you don't play for a while, and you hope you come back with the same swing.
Just below the knees, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That is a high quality miss for Homer Bailey.
Coming in, or tried to, missed away, full count.
You know, one of the things in this ballpark, you try and keep the ball down because Austin Jackson's got the power to hit it out of here. Almost anybody does, the way the ball carries in this ballpark. But you miss in or out, that's fine. Just don't miss up.
And another bouncer to third. Frazier, inning over. The Tigers go in order. Joey Votto will bring his gaudy average to the plate, due up third when we come back. Welcome back to ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Beautiful night, Great American Ballpark, downtown Cincinnati. The Reds and the Tigers. The Reds up 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. Top third of the order for the Reds, beginning with shortstop Zach Cozart, then Chris Heisey, then Joey Votto. Pitch in the dirt from Drew Smyly for ball one. Smyly got the Reds in order in the first, gave up a Phillips double and eventually a 2-run single to Todd Frazier in the bottom of the second. There were about 6 young pitchers vying for the 5th starter job in the spring for the Tigers. Smyly was called up about a week and a half into the season when they needed that 5th spot. With Fister on the DL, they've got Casey Crosby in the rotation as well. Although he's in the bullpen tonight, they've got an off day so they can push some people back. Fister on the DL twice with an abdominal injury this year. Max Scherzer's been up and down. There's a swing and a drive by Cozart and gone.
Or what were you saying about elevating pitches?
The young pitcher, he's only played one professional year, A-ball and double-A, no triple-A innings, really competed for this 5th spot, but every once in a while makes a mistake, gets the ball up, and this ball is more middle, and it's not super up, but it's up enough in this ballpark. That's a line drive double in a lot of places here. It's a home run.
3-0 Reds. Cozart came up last year, played about a week and a half for the Reds and suffered a season-ending elbow injury. But they are awfully excited about the upside that he's got offensively and defensively. Here's Heisey, hit a fly ball to center his first time. And he rips the ball fair down the left field line. Rattling around a bit in the corner, but Heisey comfortably into second.
When right-handed hitters pull the ball off Drew Smyly, they're hitting over 500. And so that means when he goes inside, he's leaving the ball in the inner half. And those last 2 loud hits, double and the home run, were middle in and pulled. And that's where he's had his most problems this year.
All right, Tito, now Votto coming up. Intentionally walked twice yesterday. Different situation later in the game. But with the base open, and it's a lefty tonight on the mound. Do you think they pitched to him?
Yes. In this game, again, it's too early. They got to try to eliminate the damage right now or control the damage. And by walking him, you're looking for a crooked number.
A strike. Votto grounded out his first time up.
You start walking guys early in the game, and you're looking at a really big inning. He needs to take the ground ball to second now and take his chances.
Lays off low, a ball and a strike. Votto hitting .422 this year with the runners in scoring position. And he's got a runner out there in scoring position right now. Not only has he done a great job of that this year, let's go back to 1960. And nobody has hit for a higher average in their career with the runners in scoring position than Joey Votto. It's a pretty good list. Wynn, Pujols, Clemente.
Look at Clemente. You start getting your name in with him, you're doing something right.
Takes low, 2-2. Jim Leyland looking on for the Tigers' third base dugout as rookie left-hander Drew Smyly facing former MVP Joey Votto. Votto showing some pretty good hand-eye coordination right there. The crowd got a kick out of that.
And the look by Jim Leyland, you can just read it on his face. There's such high expectations for the Tigers, but they're running out their two really young pitchers right now. And probably, again, we talked about having Pfister back earlier. It's hard to get back on track and keep your bullpen intact with that much youth in your rotation.
Again, the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got it. A big first out of the inning for Smiley.
That's a quality pitch right there. You're getting a National League MVP out in his past, a guy who's got 12 years of contract left with the Cincinnati Reds, and that's a big, big out for a young man at 22 years old. The ball is laid, it's sharp, he gets through it, and it's got enough deception in it to get a big guy and Joey Votto out.
Votto 0 for 2 on the night. And now Brandon Phillips. Phillips doubled and scored last inning when the Reds scored 2. First pitch swinging. He lifts a high fly ball to very shallow right field. And Barry makes the catch, 2 down.
You can tell by Brandon Phillips' reaction. He got a pitch he wanted to hit and he missed it.
So 2 down. Smiley showing some pretty good composure. Trying to get out of this after the home run by Cozart, the double by Heisey. He gets a couple of outs and now faces Jay Bruce. Bruce walked, stole a base, and scored last time up. Still only 25 years of age. Seems like he's been in the big leagues forever, doesn't it?
But because he has been.
He's got some big time power. He's hit as many as 32 home runs in a season. You see, he's got the most of any active player in baseball, age 25 or under.
I think, as you alluded to earlier, he's just been a little more streaky than everybody thought he would be. Some of his good streaks are unbelievable, but he has some dry spells. He's probably a better hitter than that.
Gets under it. Way under it. Barry again, and the inning is over. The Reds, though, do add a run. Rookie Zach Cozart leads off the inning with his 7th home run of the season. And it's 3-0 Reds at the end of 3. The NBA Finals tip-off Tuesday night on ABC. Coverage starts at 8:30 Eastern with Kia NBA Countdown. Then at 9 Eastern, Miami at Oklahoma City. Game one of what should be a fascinating series. ABC, home of the NBA Finals. Tito was a guy who spent a long time in Boston. I know you came to know Doc Rivers, and we all of us have the same feeling of admiration and respect for the way that he coaches and he handled himself. And in the end, LeBron a little bit too much, and the Heat just clamped down on defense at the end of that game.
But the way that Doc handles those guys, I mean, with such class and grace. And you saw it when he took the big three out with about 8 seconds left. You could see the emotion on his face. He does nothing but have people admire him more for what he's done.
How about a prediction for the finals? You guys are both basketball fans.
LeBron's either going to have to play out of his skull or Okie City wins.
Yeah, I agree. But he might be able to. Play.
He played almost every minute. They took him out with 30 seconds to go in Game 7. And if it would have been close, he'd have played the whole game.
Couldn't bear the batter, leading off the inning for the Tigers. Luis Marte is up in the Tiger pen. Drew Smyly reportedly has a blister issue, so Smyly may be done for the night. As it's fouled back by Barry, a ball and 2 strikes.
He's got a big blister. Tell you what, it looked like there was some blood coming in behind it, and it was pretty bad.
Swing and a miss. Barry gone. And your bullpen can get thin in a hurry, and both of these teams have been having to rest relievers here and there for a day or two. Dotel is apparently unavailable. He's got a sore elbow. He's not DL'd, but he's unavailable, so they're down a man, and boy, that is a big league blister right there.
That doesn't look like it was from just tonight either. No. That looks like that's been something they've been trying to heal.
Miguel Cabrera takes a strike. Remember Jim Leland saying your bullpen's really good when you use them when you want to use them. It's not so good when you use them when you have to use them. And this is a have to.
This is a have to.
Yep.
And there's Marte. Reds won Friday night 6-5 in 10 innings on a squeeze play. Wilson Valdez bringing in Miguel Cairo. Detroit bounced back. A couple of big hits for Prince Fielder yesterday. They won 3-2. Reds lead tonight. If the Reds win tonight, they're a game up in the division. If they lose tonight, they will be tied for the division lead in the National League Central with the Pittsburgh Pirates, which was the game on the television in Dusty Baker's office when we went in there to chat with him before the game. The Pirates are getting it done.
And he was watching that game too.
Pirates with some great pitching numbers on the season. They took 2 out of 3 from the Reds twice in the last 2 weeks. They don't score a whole lot of runs, the fewest in the National League on the season, but their ERA is 3rd best. Ball smoked into right center for a base hit. Bruce playing deep, just shy of the track. He'll hold Cabrera to a long single, the first hit of the night for the Tigers.
And you don't see many power hitters that can hit the ball that hard the other way. That's just strength along with some great hand-eye coordination. He covers everything.
Oral, I know you've always felt that both Cabrera and Fielder don't get enough credit for being quality hitters. They're not just guys with great strength who can hit the ball a mile. They're great hitters.
They're great hitters. They have great plate coverage. They both are high and low ball hitters. They both can hit mistakes. They both can get overcommitted and aggressive at times and reach bad pitches. And right there, that was just a clinic in hitting right there by Miguel Cabrera. That was just a nice, solid BP swing. I'm just going to hit line drives over the second baseman's head and get my swing in line. And he smoked that ball. A little. And that's a big human being. That's not a little guy that's just, I'm going to take the ball to the opposite field. He's making a big league swing that can knock it out of any ballpark, anywhere, right field, center field, left field.
Pitch in the dirt. Here he goes. Out at second. I think all he said to Mark Carlson is, how? How was I out?
Does a nice job in a secondary lead, getting that extra step out there, and then right there, just an outstanding throw. Look how accurate that is. I don't know if he snuck in the backside or not, but
and that's the way it feels like it's going for the Tigers right now.
So now 2 down, and inside 3-1 on Fielder, who grounded out his first time up. First year in Detroit for Fielder. You got a couple of guys, a couple of first basemen, and Fielder for Detroit and Votto for Cincinnati became extremely wealthy men in the last few months. Fielder signing a 9-year deal. Votto signing a 10-year extension that will keep him signed with the Reds through 2023.
that extension had a lot of people shaking their heads. They had 2 more years. That they were wondering. Most people were wondering, why did they have to commit so much so soon?
And it's a market, Cincinnati. They spent about 85 million. Now the contract's a little bit backloaded, but eventually they'll be spending over 20 million a year on Votto. And like many teams, maybe down the road, there's a new regional television contract, increased revenues, that sort of thing. Laced foul.
We'll say one thing, though. Cincinnati loves their baseball. They have some of the best fans in the world. You know, back in the day, they always had opening day was first day in Cincinnati, and all the kids got out of school, and it was like a holiday. And they just love their Reds.
They still always open at home. The only team that still has that distinction. Fielder takes inside, ball 4. You talked about the tradition here is great. They've won 5 World Series. Everybody who's old enough to remember the Big Red Machine, you know, can still name the everyday 8, the starting 8 for that team. The first ever professional baseball franchise, the Red Stockings, as they were known, in 1869. And here they are all these years later, and this is, as you said, there's a parade on opening day. Just great tradition. One of these, you know, hand it down from generation to generation kind of towns. You spent a year here. You know what it's like.
I sure did. I got to play opening day, and it was one of the highlights of my career.
There's Delman Young.
Did you hit a home run opening day?
I sure did.
I thought you did.
It went downhill from there.
Deep right center field. Up against the wall on a bounce. Fielder chugging for third. He'll have to stop there on the double by Young.
Oh, and that throw him out now at second looms big. Wow. I thought, then again, that ball isn't up. That's just a nice piece of hitting.
It's the same type of approach that Miguel Cabrera had, just driving that ball to right center. That ball was up a little bit. Cabrera got thrown out at second base, trying to get there on a little wild pitch pass ball. This inning would be a lot different without that out.
2 down, second and third. Ramon Santiago. Bailey works from the windup as he misses for ball 1. Santiago struck out his first time up, hit a home run yesterday, his second of the season. That was off Bronson Arroyo, who otherwise was terrific for the Reds. 7 innings, 2 runs. Got a no decision in his game against Justin Verlander. And now Bailey working himself into a bit of a jam here, although as Orel has said often, he's got 2 batters to get 1 out.
Yeah, this is the point where you move from potential to winner. And these are the kind of hitters that one of the next two, getting these guys out. Your team has spotted you 3 runs in a night where you might get more, but you don't want to let the opposing team in here with a 2-out rally.
Gerald Laird, the catcher, on deck. Chopper over the mound, tricky play, and Phillips can't make it. And a run comes in to score.
Chopper off the home plate area. He's got some topspin, and Brandon Phillips decides to play the swipe on it instead of running through it. If he runs through it, he's going to have his momentum going away from first. He says, I'm going to stop my feet, try and spear it with my glove, and just kind of deflects it, keeps it in the infield, gives up the 1 run. But he decided that that was the do-or-die play, and it kind of burned him. But he made his good effort right there. He's got the kind of hands to make that play.
3-time Gold Glove Award winner. He is charged with an error on the play. It's the initial ruling, and if it stays that way, it's his 3rd error of the season. So at the moment, E4, no RBI, a run in. Runners on the corners. Here's Laird. And a strike.
Brandon Phillips played that ball in a way that to get Santiago out. Santiago coming from the left side. He's a fast runner. If Brandon lays back on that ball, takes the big hop, Santiago beats it out for an infield hit, you have the same result. He went in a way to try and save the run. Cost himself an error, but he did the team thing in going for that play.
Laird, a long look down to his third base coach, Gene Lamont. Tigers with a run in, 2 on, 2 down. One and 2, the count on Laird.
Same situation on the mound right here. You're just trying to eliminate and cover up for the tough play from before. Don't let this inning get out from under you. Don't let it spiral out of control. Brandon Phillips made an effort for him, and now you got to pick him up.
The 3rd to first move that reportedly is going to come out of the game next year. Something they'll tell pitchers they can no longer do. Runners on the corners. And the inning is over. The Tigers get 1, leave 2, and now have to go to their bullpen because the blister problem for Drew Smyly. Luis Marte on his way in. Jim Leland with Buster Olney. When do we come back? A look from across the Ohio River from Covington, Kentucky, as you look over to downtown Cincinnati. A 3-1 lead for the Reds over the Tigers. Time now for FaceTime, presented by Edward Jones. Buster Olney with Jim Leland between innings.
Jim, when did Drew Smyly's blister issue pop up?
Well, the pitch before Cozart, he felt something. Then he hit the home run, and he threw a couple more pitches, and it was just huge. It's a big, huge blood blister on the second finger. So, you know, we just couldn't take any chance. Had to get him out.
Now, as you guys have been grinding through early in this season, what do you try to do on a day-to-day basis as manager in a situation like this?
Well, you just grind it out. You don't, nobody feels sorry for you. It shouldn't, because everybody in baseball has injuries. If you look around baseball right now, there's a whole bunch of injuries. So you got to go out and you got to gut it out till you get healthy, and hang in there till you get healthy, and then make your run.
Jim, thanks.
Got it.
And we spent some time with Jim Leland before the game talking about the injuries they have, as you see the blister on the finger of Drew Smyly, and Jim Leland said, I can't afford to worry about the guys who were hurt. He said, when somebody's ready to play, tell me, and then I can figure out how to get them back in with the team. And Terry, I don't know if you felt the same way. Jim Leland's sole focus as Luis Marte comes into the game for Smyly. Jim Leland's sole focus is the 25 guys on the active roster right now.
And you understand his point. You watch him grinding it out down there. If I was a player that played the game the right way, I would love to play for Jim Leland. And if I didn't play the right way, he'll let you know. And that's the way it should be. He respects the game so much, he expects you to play the game correctly.
Ryan Ludwig, a ball and 2 strikes. Remember, Ludwig's first at bat. The first 2 pitches he thought both were balls, both were called strikes. Then he swung at a pitch in the dirt, struck out. The bat went flying into the stands, and he'd had enough. Oh, and he's not going to be any happier now. 2 at-bats in a row and a total of 3 pitches in which Ryan Ludwig has disagreed with Angel Hernandez. Bulldog?
Well, it's not the knee, but it's the hollow of the knee, and that one looks maybe on the top of the shin. I don't know what K-Zone thinks about that one. It's tough when you've had a lot of borderline calls go the wrong way as a hitter. And I don't usually side with the hitters.
He wasn't going to hit that pitch anyway.
No. Probably be swinging at the first pitch his next at bat. I think he's going to give Angel a chance to punch him out.
And as a hitter here in this situation, Terry, do you say, I mean, do you feel like there's a conspiracy? Do you feel like you're being targeted in any way when the pitcher makes his best pitches and the borderline calls go against you?
Yeah, it's human nature takes over sometimes.
That's what happened to Terry after that home run on opening day that year, '87. They started getting a lot of borderline calls, I'll bet.
Well, Terry said he had a great opening day and had a great last day of the season. It was just in between that
the 160 in between were rough.
I'll tell you what, so much of this game is mental, isn't it, Terry?
Oh.
I mean, just the confidence that you have when you get on a roll.
That's why I respect so much good everyday players, because of the ups and downs, and they have to grind through it. And to do it on a good team, you really got to be a good player.
You look at guys like Joey Votto tonight and Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder, and they're in there every day. They want to play every inning.
Yes.
And they're solid.
Frazier loops one to center, 2 down.
It not only takes a lot of ability, it takes just a lot of mental discipline, a lot of toughness.
You get beat up.
There's Devin Mesoraco coming up with 2 outs, nobody on. Bottom of the 4th, the Reds leading the Tigers 3-1. Mesoraco, you'll recall, in the second inning was called out on interference for impeding Gerald Laird's ability to throw the ball down to second on a stolen base attempt. And there was a little bit of back and forth. Mesoraco, Dusty Baker, Angel Hernandez. What exactly was the call? It wasn't clear initially that Mesoraco was out, had been called out on the play, because again, there are 2 different kinds of interference. The misdemeanor, I guess the less severe one, is an inadvertent backswing hits the catcher. You're not out, but the runner has to go back to first. But if you fall across the plate and impede the catcher, then you are out on interference, and that was the ruling against Mesoraco. That does a little bit better this time around. second deck home run for the rookie. Number 4 on the season for Mesoraco, 4-1 Reds.
Wow, that's a strong young man. And not only that, you get Homer Bailey out of the way to hit this inning, so at worst you have your leadoff hitter up next inning.
Swing and a miss, a ball and a strike on Bailey. Both Mesoraco and Cozart have homered tonight. Guys, 56 consecutive games. This goes well back to last season, obviously. 56 consecutive games that there's been a home run hit in this ballpark. That's the longest active streak of any ballpark in baseball. And there are more home runs hit in this ballpark than any other park in the game.
That's some rookie power for 2 rookies right there, coming through with the power.
Bailey gone and the inning is over. A 432-foot home run for Mesoraco. Buster Olney, Dusty Baker when we come back. Tonight's aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned in making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Top 5 at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati with Oral Hershiser. Terry Francona, Cincinnati Reds, 1987. And Buster Olney. I'm Dave Schulman. Sunday Night Baseball. The Reds leading the Tigers 4-1. Homer Bailey's got himself a 3-run lead going to the 5th. They say the toughest inning of all for a young pitcher with a lead who knows he's 3 outs away from qualifying. Did you find that either as a pitcher or a pitching coach?
You know what? There is a little bit of a brain hurdle to get over, especially if a runner or 2 gets on. You start to see the bullpen kind of fumble around. I tell you what, when you've been throwing the way Homer Bailey is, I don't think that's this kind of inning. I think he's concentrating on going deep into the game. I think he feels good about his mechanics. He's been locating the ball very, very well, getting ahead of hitters tonight, and then once he gets ahead of them, he's doing a pretty good job putting them away. And he very easily could be throwing a shutout if one ground ball gets turned into an out.
Swing and a miss. Worth is gone. 1 down. Time now for more FaceTime presented by Edward Jones. Between innings, Buster Olney with Dusty Baker.
Dusty, Homer Bailey off to a good start tonight. What are you seeing in him?
Well, he has a good tempo going. He's controlling his secondary pitches, which he was having a little trouble last time. And his mechanics are better, therefore he's controlling his fastball better.
Mesoraco hits a home run, but in his first at bat, he was called out for interference. What did Angel Hernandez tell you, and what did you see?
Well, what I saw, it didn't look like he interfered with it. It didn't look like he touched him. But if you interfere and hinder his throw to second base and the batter's out, it looked like he came across, but I didn't think far enough to be called out. But, that was a big run for us. I mean, Angel was right in the end, because that had been a runner on third and 1 out. So I just hope that run, doesn't haunt us.
Dusty, thanks.
2 down in this inning. Luis Marte, the pitcher who came on for Smiley, comes up to bat and grounds out for out number 2.
Dusty sounded like he was using both sides of the fence right there. Angel was right. If this happened, I didn't see the contact. I was like, where's the conclusion? He's protecting everybody.
Well, he's got 4.5 more innings to go. He wants to.
Exactly.
Got to be a politician when you're a manager, right, Terry?
Those interviews are a lot more fun when you're up than when you're down.
Back to the top of the order for the Tigers. Austin Jackson 0 for 2, 0 for 4 yesterday in his return from the DL. Let's listen in. This is a couple of innings ago. Dusty Baker and Angel Hernandez talking about that play.
I got batter's interference. The runner goes back.
Oh, no, Angel. I was looking at that big time.
I got it right here in front of me. When he swings across the plate, he hindered his throw. There was no contact. There doesn't have to be contact, Dusty. His right shoulder came way across.
I got some pretty good eyes now, folks.
Well, you'll see it exactly what I saw.
And what they both saw here was an opposite field home run from Austin Jackson to cut the deficit to 4-2.
And that's one of the reasons why this ballpark continues to have so many home runs, because guys can reach the opposite field so easily.
We talked about Austin Jackson coming back from a little bit of an injury. He's going to come back with the same swing. This is the kind of swing he's had all year. Short, compact, and powerful. Having a breakout year, and looks like he's going to have a chance to continue it with swings like that.
Strike taken by Quentin Berry, number 6 on the season for Jackson. Makes it a 4-2 game.
Homer Bailey's pitched this ballpark enough to know that was a home run when it left the bat.
Got a career ERA of over 5 in this ballpark.
I think he's given up now 11 home runs this year, and 9 of them are in this ballpark. The other 2 are in Yankee Stadium. He's a better road pitcher than he is a home pitcher, and one of the things of the mental blocks he's got to get over is pitching to avoid home runs compared to just pitching to get people out. On the road, he's just trying to get people out. Here, sometimes he pitches to avoid home runs.
And now he grazes Berry with a pitch to send him down to first and bring up Miguel Cabrera.
Talk about that mental hurdle about getting the W in the 5th inning. He's pitched his way into having the hurdle with this part of the order and a man on first and 2 out. Little fastball in, just kind of grazes the blouse of the jersey right there. If they're going to take away the first to third move from pitchers, that little grazing shouldn't be a base. I mean, you take away from one area, you got to give back. I mean, it's got to hit skin then.
Bailey facing Cabrera. Cabrera walked in the first, singled in the 4th. Hitting over 370 in his last 30 games, 320 overall on the season. Now high drive, deep right center. And caught. A basket catch by Heisey, just shy of the fence. He's got it, he says, and he did. Tigers get 1, but no more. And Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Remy Martin. Things are getting interesting. And AC Pro, cars AC blowing hot air. Get AC Pro, the 10-minute cold air solution. The Louisville Slugger Bat Factory. There's a Brennan Bosch model. So many major leaguers getting their bats made there. There's a Terry Francona model. Genuine Terry Francona. And that's legit. We got it right here in the booth. We got an Oral Hershiser model.
We got a Dan Schulman model spelled correctly this year. Got the whole thing.
You don't want me swinging a bat in the booth. You don't want me swinging a bat anywhere.
This is better than the bats I had when I was a player.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty nice.
Zach Cozart, who homered his last time up, pops a bunt up, and he's going to make it to first base. Diving attempt by Cabrera, but it'll be a bunt single for Cozart.
Dropped the barrel of the bat a little bit, got the angle to get it going towards third, dropped the barrel, got a little pop up, and the dancing bear just didn't get there, half a step short. It's good effort.
So Cozart is aboard to lead off the inning. Here's Heisey, 1 for 2. Drives the ball to center, but right at Jackson. 1 down. Now, how does this compare, Terry, to the model you used during your career?
It's actually pretty close.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
Got some hits in it?
You know, I think you could get a bat like this and hit 210, 215, maybe even 220. Yeah, there's a lot of hits left in this bat.
Well, whatever model Joey Votto's using, get a lot of hits in his this year. None so far tonight, 0 for 2, but on a 15-game hitting streak and hitting .358 on the season.
You know, the other thing to remember is in interleague, a lot of the hitters, you don't see the pitchers. And facing a young lefty, Drew Smiley, for the first time, the only thing you can go on is video, watching the game on TV, and it's different than facing the guy in person.
Fouled back. Votto, a guy, because he plays in a market like Cincinnati as opposed to a New York or an L.A., doesn't get as much hype as some other players, and also a very quiet guy, an introverted guy. So you're not going to see him doing a lot of commercials or anything like that. Ground ball to second for 1 and 2, and they have kept Votto in check here tonight to the tune of 0 for 3. 5 complete in Cincinnati, 4-2 Reds. So look at the standings in the two divisions in play here tonight. The Tigers 5 games under, third place, 5.5 back. The White Sox are the leaders, although they lost to Houston today, 11-9. Cleveland is in second place in the American League Central. They defeated St. Louis today. The Pirates won again. They completed a sweep of Kansas City. They're just a half game back of Cincinnati for top spot in the National League Central, with St. Louis in third. Here's Prince Fielder, a ground out and a walk.
And I don't think it's the record right now that has Jim Leyland and the Tigers alarmed, because there's a lot of baseball left. I mean, look at the Angels. 3 weeks ago, everybody said their season was over. Now they're running up on Texas. It's just getting guys back healthy and playing the game the way they want to, feeling good about themselves.
2-1 on Fielder. He has used the analogy, you know, you're in the corner, you're taking some punches, you're going to come out swinging, or you're going to throw the towel in.
He's going to swing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's no flight in him, a fight and flight syndrome. No, he's no flight in Jim Leyland.
He's fun to be around.
And Fielder hit on the right arm, down to first.
He took that and he just jogged down to first, but that didn't sound good. That sounded bony. He's tough.
You know, I've stood in the box for a lot of years, and if that ball would have hit me on the run, and he just kind of like,
boom,
whatever.
Got him right in the tricep. Yeah. Did you hit him when you used to throw him BP?
Only threw it to him once because he didn't pick the balls up.
Delman Young is swinging to miss. For those who don't know, when Terry was a coach with the Tigers and Prince Fielder was 12, you may have heard the story about him hitting a home run into the upper deck at Old Tiger Stadium. It was Tito who served it up. Prince owned you from both sides of the plate.
And he hit right-handed also.
And right-handed is his natural way to hit at that time?
We asked him before the game today, because we've got video of him hitting left and right. And I said, what are you doing hitting right? And he said, when I was really little, I was a right-handed batter, and I wanted to switch hit. I didn't follow up by saying, you know, so you could beat out all those extra infield hits. And then, I mean, but Prince Fielder with some memories of getting pitches from Terry Francona.
Oh, it was cool. I think it was, matter of fact, I think it was like the first time I really got to hit on the field, so I was pretty excited. And then, yeah, I mean, I hit a couple homers that day, so it was fun. It was fun.
Hit the homers, we believe, from the left side.
That wasn't enhanced sound, was it? That was some serious crack of the bat for, what, how old was he, 13?
He was 12. He was 12 years old.
And upper deck home runs at Old Tiger Stadium, but he wanted to be a switch hitter, he went on to say, and he hit right for a while, and he switch hit for a while, and he said his dad, Cecil, saw his swing from the right side in his freshman year in high school and said, I don't like that swing, hit left. So, you do what your dad tells you to do, and it's worked out pretty well.
He made a good decision.
It's not like you can't refine the swing from high school to now.
Santiago with a pop-up, shallow left, 2 down. Now, you guys have seen a lot of 12-year-olds over the years and sons of major leaguers. And can you tell when a kid's, I mean, could you tell then, Terry, that this kid might grow into this fearsome major league power hitter?
No, I mean, he's 12. Yeah. But, you know, we used to go out and throw to all the kids. And it wasn't just Prince, it was everybody. And he hit the ball a little farther than the other kids, that's for sure.
It's hard enough to try and decide if you want to spend money on a free agent who's going to continue to be a good player. You start predicting back to 12.
There's Gerald Laird. And he pops it up. And this will get back out of play.
That's the one thing when you run into parents and they tell you about their kid and the stats they have or how hard they're throwing or how many home runs they have, and you find out how old the young man is or the young lady, and then you just say, you know, let them have fun. Let them work hard if they want to. Make sure that, you know, please and thank you, and get their work in and approach it with a good way, But as far as predicting how far they're going to go, pretty hard.
Dangerous business, huh?
Yeah.
That kid looks like a ball player. He's a lefty.
He's waiting for it. Yep. He's got a good work ethic. He's ready.
Let's go down to Buster Olney.
Now, Oral, you're talking about the way that you would treat your children when they would play sports. Didn't your son just sign a professional contract today?
Yeah, he went to the old homestead. He went to the Dodgers in the 34th round, a fifth-year senior at USC. He's going to get a chance.
And we wish him well.
There's a lot of bloodlines that were in the draft this year. Jose Vizcaíno, Cal Ripken's son was drafted. I think Steve Garvey's son was drafted. A lot of big league sons. Some pedigree was drafted. You never know. They got a chance.
Mike Matheny's son, we were talking to him last week. Terrific young prospect.
My son Jordan gave up baseball for a year just to see, he wanted to try golf. So we got him a golf coach. We're fortunate enough to be able to do that.
Liner into right center, a base hit for Laird. Fielder on his way to third on a long single.
And a nice job by Heisey in center, cutting it off and getting it back in, keeping the force in order. And if Bailey just makes his pitch, he gets out of the inning unscathed.
Bailey, through 3 innings, did not give up a hit. He's given up 2 runs on 4 hits and hit 2 batters since. But he's still got the lead. 4-2 here in the 6th inning. The number 8 hitter is up, Danny Worth. Pitcher spot due up next. And that pitch has consistently been a strike tonight. The hitters haven't liked it, but Angel Hernandez has been calling the low on a strike.
And he's been consistently going down there. And that's really the growth that you're seeing in Homer Bailey, because when some of these innings start to look like they could spiral out of control, he comes back and tries to make quality pitches. He doesn't start overthrowing. He doesn't start trying to strike people out like he did earlier in his career. He just comes back and tries to make another solid quality pitch. And you really see the wheels spinning inside his head when he's out there. You don't see the game spinning out of control. Nothing is too fast for him right now. He gets back on there, gets into his mechanics, into his routine, and tries to make one more good pitch.
Had been pitching very well until his last start against Pittsburgh, when he went just 3 innings 5 days ago. Had a 2.25 ERA in his previous 4 starts. Leaves it high, 1-2. And Dusty Baker talked to us about how important Homer Bailey is. High draft pick, a big arm. The guy Dusty said had been pitching like a number 2 guy in recent starts until the Tuesday game against Pittsburgh. Johnny Cueto's been their best starter this year. Weekly hit toward third. Frazier charges and makes the play to get Worth and end the inning. Bailey gets out of it, and the Reds still have a 2-run lead.
Old rivalry. France and England take the battle to the pitch once again. It's not to be missed. Les Bleus and the Three Lions tomorrow at Euro 2012 live on ESPN.
Tito, take it away.
You know, anybody worth their salt knows they have a new coach. This is England in Roy Hodgson, and he likes the defensive style of play as opposed to pushing it on the offensive side.
He's going to have a tough time scoring goals against Hugo Lloris. That's the team captain of France, so it's going to be quite a battle.
Brandon Phillips with a base hit into center. You guys are dialed in, man. Dialed in.
You know, Peter Pasquarelli doesn't miss anything. Anything.
Leadoff man aboard for the Reds in the bottom of the 6th. Luis Marte is still on the mound. His third inning of work in relief of Drew Smiley, who left with a blister problem.
And you know, Jim Leland would love to get him through this inning so he can go ahead and pinch hit and not have to take somebody out, double switch. Yep. And they're thin anyway.
Here's Bruce, a walk and a fly ball, and he takes it low, ball 1. Outside, ball 2, and there is activity now in the Tigers bullpen. The right-hander Brian Villarreal, a hard thrower, a little bit erratic every now and again, but he can get the fastball up there at about 98 miles an hour. As a very light rain begins to fall here in Cincinnati. Bottom 6, 4-2 Reds. The Reds winning Friday night, the Tigers winning yesterday afternoon, both one-run games. Out of play, 2-2.
Tito, did you ever get a little nervous or uneasy about shifting like this in a no-out situation where just a bunt or a ground ball to the left side really just leaves it open to this inning just unravel? This is a big shift and just a routine ground ball to third. As a pitcher on the mound, I wouldn't want my fielders there.
Well, and again, I think we always ask our pitchers, because that's the last thing you want to do is have a pitcher be uneasy with your defense.
Does it complicate things when you're pitching the batter away? Or do you assume
No,
still?
No,
that...
I really don't. I don't think so. Because, again, the guys you're shifting, they're pulling the ball. They're not trying to work the ball that way. And there is so much information now at your fingertips that I'm telling you, if you look on the spray chart, there are no grounders over there.
Phillips going. And it's ball 4. 2 on with nobody out for the Reds. And Jim Leland.
Double switch time.
Yeah. Can't wait any longer. So he's going to the home plate umpire, Angel Hernandez, to give him the details on the double switch. We know it'll be Villarreal. And we'll set the changes for you when we come back. The Reds leading and threatening here in the bottom of the 6th. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, June 22nd, only in theaters, and The Degree Adrenaline Series. Looking at the beautiful Roebling Suspension Bridge, which connects Cincinnati to Covington, Kentucky, and was designed by John Roebling, who went on to design the Brooklyn Bridge in 1883. 4-2, the Reds lead the Tigers. The beautiful Goodyear aerial shots. You can see the Roebling Bridge off to the left as we've got ourselves a double switch. Matt Young comes into play second base, taking the spot of Danny Worth. Put him in the 9 spot, and the pitcher goes into the 8 spot in the order, and that'll be hard-throwing right-hander Brian Villarreal, making his 15th appearance of the season. 2 on, nobody out. Ryan Ludwig. Low ball 1. Villarreal has had 3 different stints with the Tigers this year. Ludwig, meanwhile, has been up twice and he has struck out twice. And it's been a frustrating night for him. On top of the strikeouts, he just hasn't liked any of the called strikes that he's gotten from Angel Hernandez. 2 of them in the first at bat, 1 of them in the second at bat.
And Villarreal needs to be careful. Brandon Phillips is starting to time him at second, just like he did earlier in the game.
Chopper to the mound. To second 1. On to first. Double play.
It's a nice little play. Villarreal is a reliever. You don't get a whole lot of these comebackers, and once you do, the game can speed up. He takes his time, gets his footwork in order, feeds it over there to Matt Young, who just came in for defense, and the combo of a couple of guys who don't really do that very often did it perfectly.
So 2 down and a runner at third. Cincinnati up 4-2, looking for a clutch 2-out base hit from Todd Frazier, who has certainly delivered a lot of clutch hits already in this series for the Reds. Taking advantage of the playing time with Scott Rowland on the DL. Thinking about maybe a 2-out bunt for a base hit. There's the bat back, and he takes ball 1. How about 3 hits, all of them producing runs in this series, and all of them either tying the game or giving the Reds the lead. And a ball and a strike, the count on Frazier. Scott Rowland out again, Tito. Well, you know him some years ago. A while ago.
Thank you.
In Philadelphia. I mean, way back at the beginning. Healthy, was one of the best. One of the best.
You know what? Even unhealthy, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
He just when he can get out there, you can bet he'll be out there. And he's a great kid to have on a club. Walked in the clubhouse yesterday, made me feel old.
1-2. Breaking ball down and away. Good stop there by Laird.
He gets you in that bear hug. He doesn't realize these bones are getting a little brittle.
Jim Leland back to the top step. The Reds with a runner at third. 2 down, 6th inning, 2-run game. Smiley for 3, left with a blister. Marte 2+. Now Villarreal. 2-2. The emergency hack on that breaking ball. A great job by Frazier just to make contact, Doral, on that pitch.
Villarreal's thrown some nice quality pitches, and that breaking ball is late. And with his fastball at the velocity he can throw it, Frazier respecting the fastball velocity and just fighting off this breaking ball. Check this out. Starting up above the knee, kind of mid-thigh, breaking down below around shin high, and still able to get it flicked out of there.
High drive, right field, deep,
Gone!
What a weekend for Frazier.
Well, this didn't tie the game or put him ahead, but it gave him some insurance. But the swing before that saves the at-bat was the key. He made an emergency swing on a breaking ball and fought it off. And then he comes back and really makes not an emergency swing, but just I'm just trying to make contact with 2-strike swing.
Now basing it to left field for Mesoraco.
Todd Frazier just having quite a series, Dan, as you're saying, but right here you get to do special things when you make a special foul ball, and then he just got a 2-strike swing. He just kind of blocks it. You see the top hand come off the bat, and he's just trying to make contact again, and between barreling it up and hitting in such a bandbox where the ball carries so well, that can be a routine fly to right in a lot of big league parks, kind of right to the warning track. Everybody takes a deep breath. Here, it's a 4-bagger.
Homer Bailey will get his at bat. Don't you love to see that smile as he's rounding the bases? That wasn't showing anybody up. That was just complete joy.
Joy, right? Yeah, I agree with that. And if I'm Homer Bailey right now, I don't even swing. Take the lead, go out there and pitch. With this guy's stuff, is all you're going to do is sting your hands.
And you don't want to get a little bruise on your pitching hand right now, or get any bees in there and upset any kind of rhythm you've got going.
Laced it foul off to the right, 1-2. Frazier with 4 RBIs tonight, 7 in the series, 22 RBIs and 7 home runs in 108 at bats.
But his pinch hitting is phenomenal. 6 for 7, unbelievable.
Not bad.
They've got a chance, and we say this about a lot of teams, but if the people get healthy, I mean, they got a lot of pieces on this team. They got a lot of different parts that can help them. Bullpen has been, even with all the injuries they've had, Madsen, Massett, Gray, the bullpen has some of the best numbers of any bullpen in baseball. They got a lot of power, enhanced obviously by this ballpark. They've got athletes, good defense.
We almost wanted to stay within 3 runs so we get to see Aroldis Chapman,
which is a treat for anybody to watch. I don't care. Watching him throw is worth staying up at night.
It's an event.
Unless you're a left-hand hitter.
Well, they don't play tomorrow, and he hasn't pitched this weekend. So I think Buster should walk down into the Cincinnati dugout and say, Dusty, pitch him.
No matter what the score.
Save situation or not. Pitch him. Inning over. But another productive inning for the Reds and another productive at bat for Todd Frazier. Goes the other way for his 7th home run of the season. He's driven in 4 tonight. And the Reds lead 6-2. The ALNL Showdown continues tomorrow to Wednesday on ESPN. A Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA starts at 7 Eastern. It's the Red Sox and the Marlins. Wednesday night at 7, the Yankees are in Atlanta to take on the Braves. Both games available on ESPN, ESPN3, and also live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Atlanta had been as hot as anybody. They had won 6 in a row and had a 4-0 lead against the Blue Jays today before the Blue Jays erupted and won going away 12-4, but Atlanta still won 6 out of 7. Hot on the heels of the Nationals in the National League East. Washington completed a sweep of the Red Sox today. The Nationals winning 4-3. So Washington now 2 up on Atlanta atop the National League East. Homer Bailey back for the 7th. And Matt Young will get his first at bat. Came on in a double switch. 29-year-old called up from AAA a few days ago. Again, with all the injuries the Tigers have had, they've had to make a lot of moves deep into their system. They've actually called up a shortstop from A-ball because they just don't have that many healthy guys left on their 40-man roster. Ooh, up and in and almost hit him.
And Johnny Peralta's gone for the birth of a child. So
children. Twins.
Twins. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you can't start. And Jim Leland was real open about it. He said, our roster's getting a little bit beat up. So they brought a young kid up from A-ball just to let him fill in a little bit. And he pinch hit him yesterday.
Yeah, Hernan Perez grounded out in his major league debut. A little bit inside.
And this would be the last thing you want to do is walk this leadoff hitter.
And a strike, 3-1. Bailey approaching 100 pitches, 4-4 on the season. An ERA of 4.39 coming in. Ooh, gets the call. Full count. Stumbled a little bit in his follow through as well.
Looked like he hit the side of his shoe a little bit. If you don't land completely flat-footed, sometimes your front foot will slide out from under you. It just looked like he hit the hole wrong there at the end.
And here comes pitch number 100. And it gets him for out number 1.
Homer Bailey has been excellent tonight. He's had a couple rough innings, but the best thing that he's done all night is he's commanded his fastball and kept it down to both sides of the plate, the little two-seamer, then the cutter in. And then he comes back after getting ahead, and he can just bury that slider. And you know what? When you pitch down for a while, sometimes you got to change eye level, and he does that right here. The last 2 pitches, this at bat goes up for purpose and then back down and away to get the ground out. He's had a very nice command tonight and good pattern with his pitches as far as understanding what to throw next.
Had some shoulder problems each of the last 2 years. Missed some time each of the last 2 years. Healthier this year. Learning his craft, as Oral mentioned. And one of 5 guys who have combined to start every game for the Reds this year. They've used the same 5 starting pitchers all season. And that may not sound like that much in the middle of June, but they're one of only 3 teams to do it, with the Marlins and the Mariners being the other ones.
As Terry has talked about tonight with hitters where they get into rhythms like Austin Jackson, and then all of a sudden there's a tweak and you worry about them coming back with the same swing. The same things with pitchers, and that's what Homer Bailey's had to deal with in his career so far. As he starts to learn his craft, really start to get into it, and then that shoulder tenderness kind of creeps up on them, and they come back into the game healthy, but they got to continue to find their legs, and it kind of slows down their learning curve.
Looking pretty confident, working at a nice crisp pace here in the 7th inning. Breaking ball misses low. A full count now on Jackson, who's grounded out twice and homered. Two runs on 5 hits for Detroit, 6 runs on 9 hits for the Reds. Total of 4 home runs in the game. Bouncer to third. The man of the night, Frazier, 2 down.
Terry, we got an early flight tomorrow, 9, and we're not going to Bristol like we're supposed to, baseball tonight. We've got to go to, where are we going to? Chattanooga, or what's that city we got to go to? Charlotte?
Charlotte.
We got to go to Charlotte for our partner. The broadcaster of the year. We're going to honor our buddy.
Thank you.
He's not made it yet. He's got to get through the night.
The night is young. We barely got out of the gate over there.
And you're asking a guy named Alan Davis to present you?
Yes.
And why is Alan Davis presenting
He's the program director who gave me my first job in radio in Toronto back in 1990, I believe, and he's now working at a radio station in Buffalo, and I wouldn't be in the business if it weren't for him. So he's coming down, and some family are coming down.
That's why you have this kid here, this human garbage can.
Yes, yeah. the human garburator over here is coming with me. So my youngest son Ben, and you guys are nice enough to come.
That's going to be fun.
Dickie V's going to be there, and some.
That's going to be fun.
Are you going to let Dickie V talk?
That's you don't really have that,
That's not a choice.
You might just run up there.
I'm not sure I have that.
so in other words, change the flight on Tuesday.
Thank you.
It's going to be fun. Congratulations.
Flattered and honored and humbled and excited.
Al Michaels has won it. Chris Berman has won it.
Mike Tirico's won it. Bob Costas is going into the Hall of Fame tomorrow. He'll be there, which is pretty cool. So
it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great. John Feinstein is going into the Hall of Fame in the writers category. And Joe Posnanski is the honoree this year in the writers category.
When's your contract up?
I don't know.
There you go. This went and ruined it.
Well, do they have like arbitration for announcers?
What is this? Put me on the spot? Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on?
We're just going to tag along.
At the pace your son is eating, you better get a raise.
Yeah. We're going to Salisbury, North Carolina tomorrow. And I'm really glad you guys are coming.
Oh, it's going to be a blast.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch you blush.
More than I am right now. 2-2 the count on a Berry. 6-2 Reds over the Tigers' 7th inning.
I'm rooting for the Tigers to get a run. I want to see Aroldis Chapman pitch.
I think Dusty's going to use him one way or the other.
Yeah, because of the day's
Off day
rest.
tomorrow. Hasn't pitched the last 2 days. He has been virtually unhittable. He's given up 1 earned run this year in 30 innings. And the opposing batters have 9 hits against them. They're 9 for 100 against
54
him.
strikeouts.
54 strikeouts. I mean, it's ludicrous. Doesn't make any sense. Incredible numbers.
And he'll throw 100, especially with all these days off he's had.
An easy 100.
Yeah, 101, 102.
And Dusty Baker said if you raced him against Drew Stubbs, who's the fastest guy on the team, he thinks Chapman might win. That he's an incredible athlete. Looks like a 2-guard in basketball. Little flare dropping for a base hit. And Berry is aboard with 2 down for Miguel Cabrera.
This could get tight in a hurry right here with these next 2 hitters.
Jose Arredondo, a right-hander, is up. Sean Marshall peering in from the Reds bullpen. Dusty to the mound.
Didn't Dusty tell us about a meeting and leaving in Homer Bailey for Albert Pujols, and then Albert got a hit off a homer and he took some heat and he said, I'm trying to breed an ace. I'm trying to breed somebody that is going to grow, but not tonight in this situation.
Standing ovation for Bailey. Reds to the pen. Welcome back to ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Beautiful shots all night long. Tonight's aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned in making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. 7th inning, 2 out, 1 on, pitching change for Cincinnati. Right-hander Jose Arredondo into the game. 6-2 the Reds lead. Miguel Cabrera is the batter. As we mentioned, the Reds bullpen entered the day with the best collective ERA in the National League, just ahead of Pittsburgh. Big swing and a miss by Cabrera.
And it shows you the respect they have for Cabrera, because the way Homer Bailey was pitching, and with a 5-run lead, 4-run lead, maybe you leave him in for one more hitter, and then you have your lefty for fielder.
He's got some other arms out there. Sean Marshall, the left-hander, is up. They've got Logan Ondrusik, one of the real top-notch relievers, one of the better setup men in baseball the last couple of years. And, of course, Aroldis Chapman. Marshall waiting his turn. He knows he'll come in to face fielder if Arredondo cannot get Cabrera. Arredondo some time with the Angels before becoming a Red last year. 2 balls and a strike.
I think the same reason we think we might see Aroldis Chapman, no matter what the score is the same reason that Dusty can go batter for batter now. They've got an off day tomorrow, and there's Mr. Chapman starting to get some little blood flow instead of sitting around, start moving around.
Three and 1.
The Reds have Bill Bray on close to returning.
There's Ondrusik now getting up and starting to throw. Bray, a left-hander, has been out with a groin injury. Nick Massett, a right-hander's on the DL, hasn't pitched. Ryan Madson, who was supposed to be their closer, out for the season. So Chapman, who was vying for a spot on the rotation, went to the pen, eventually became the closer. There's ball 4. And Cabrera draws the walk, and is that going to be all for Arredondo? Is Dusty going right back to get the left-hander now to face fielder?
Yep.
And he's unhappy. You can see from the way he slapped the railing on his way out. Did not get, obviously, what he was looking for out of Arredondo, and there's the call for the lefty. We'll step aside. Bailey looks on from the dugout. Prince Fielder coming up. Reds leading, Tigers threatening. Here in the 7th inning at Great American Ballpark. Cabrera's on base. Here comes Prince Fielder. A lethal 1-2 combination. Miguel Cabrera winning the batting title in the American League last year, putting up huge numbers, driving in a ton of runs this year. Prince Fielder, as feared a power hitter as there is in the game. He's hitting over 300 and yesterday clocked his 10th home run of the season. Also, had what turned out to be the game-winning RBI single in the 8th inning yesterday against the man he faces here again tonight, Sean Marshall. Now remember, Marshall, Cub for a number of years, and Fielder, of course, with Milwaukee. They've seen each other a lot. You saw the numbers, 6 for 24. Marshall on in relief. First and second, 2 down. Big sweeping breaking ball that sweeps all the way across the plate and winds up outside, ball 1.
Lefty's hitting about 208 off of Sean this year. Hasn't given up a big fly to a lefty. Knock on wood if you're a Reds fan.
Ripped into right field, a base hit. Berry getting the wave around third. The throw on a bounce and safe. Safe at the plate is Berry, as Angel Hernandez rules Mesoraco did not get the glove on him on the way by. What that shows you is how incredibly hard that ball was hit, because Berry's got speed.
And it's 2 out, and you're going on the crack of the bat. It's a good strong throw up the line. Misses the sweep tag. Angel Hernandez gives the safe sign before he touches the plate.
I'm not sure he missed it. I'm not sure he missed him. And this is what's tough about going to your bullpen now. They've got this revolving door. That door keeps coming open too much.
So the run scores. Marshall is gone after one batter, and here comes Andrusik, as Dusty Baker is forced to plow through reliever after reliever to try to protect this lead here in the 7th inning. The tying run is going to come to the plate. One more look, and just so tough to tell, even with the benefit of replay. Mesoraco either was trying to sell it or really believed it that he tagged him. Berry called safe, and the Tigers are still going here in the 7th.
No, he didn't get him.
No, that's our best angle. There you go.
That's a great angle.
Great work, guys.
Angel Hernandez had a great angle also.
You know, the technology's gotten so good, and we get so many looks at these plays that it actually shows a lot of times how good the umpiring is. I mean, we're quick to point out when there's something wrong, but we get a lot of looks at it.
And now, here's the situation Dusty Baker finds himself in, because Arredondo and Marshall couldn't do the job. He didn't want to leave Homer Bailey to face Miguel Cabrera, because if Bailey gets Cabrera, the inning is over. But he felt he was out of gas, and Cabrera is Cabrera, so he went to the pen for a fresh arm. But now, because Arredondo didn't get his guy, he's gone. Because Marshall didn't get his guy, he's gone. And now you're into Andrusik, who's normally the 8th inning guy, try to finish off the 7th with Chapman still in reserve. Let's go back, another look, and we'll listen this time as well to Angel Hernandez on that play at the.
No! And now he got the plate.
He was decisive and immediate with the no call. Now he called him safe, and then he called him safe again when he got the plate. So the only thing is, the first time there shouldn't have been a safe call. It just was, let's see what happens. Then he called him safe a second time when he went back and got the play. But the most important thing is he got the call right.
And he was decisive, and he communicated. Everybody down there knew what was going on.
Here's Delman Young. All of a sudden, the tying run comes to the plate for the Tigers. Young tonight has grounded out, doubled, and struck out.
And again, this is where this ballpark starts feeling smaller.
It's a long wait in the dugout for the starting pitcher, who wanted to finish the inning. Pitch count was up over 100. Part of the order was coming up. 2 relievers have come and gone. Tying run at the plate. One and 2. Working that toothpick over pretty good right now with each extra base runner the Tigers are getting. Dangerous hitter in Young. 2 on with 2 down. Two-two. Swing and a miss. He got him. Finally, the Reds get out of it. 7th inning stretch, 6-3 Cincinnati. The Reds with 3 home runs in this game as we welcome you back to Great American Ballpark. Let's take a look now at our game track. Brought to you by Ram. A 6-3 lead for Cincinnati. Going to the bottom of the 7th inning. A big night for Todd Frazier. Homer Bailey hoping for a win. Went 6 2/3. Drew Smiley left early with a blister problem. The Tigers have a tying run at the plate in the 7th inning before Logan Andrusik struck out Delman Young. Villarreal back out for the Tigers. Top of the order for Cincinnati. Cozart, Heisey, and Votto here in the 7th. By the way, an earlier play, the error that was charged to Brandon Phillips has now been changed to a base hit for Ramon Santiago. That play where Phillips tried to backhand it on the tricky hop. Give Santiago now a base hit, take the error away from Phillips. Here's Cozart, 2 for 3, a home run and a bunt single. Cabrera even with a bag at third. After Cozart, Heisey, and then coming up third this inning, Joey Votto trying to extend a 15-game hitting streak. He is 0 for 3 tonight. Inside corner, 1-2. Big crowds here this weekend. The numbers boosted by a lot of Tiger fans being here, especially last night. Friday night rather, and yesterday afternoon. They had over 40,000 yesterday, 38,000 Friday night, 34,000 here tonight.
It's a very picturesque ballpark too. If you're going to make a road trip to come see a stadium, this is a fun one, a beautiful one to come see.
Now in its 10th season. Down and away, 2-2. Villarreal pitched in yesterday's game, and he was pretty good with his command at the plate, but he almost took Prince Fielder's left arm off twice on pickoff attempts over at first base. Throwing him high and outside. Firing him over there. Just like that. 98 at the knees, 1 down. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Watch almost 100 live out-of-market games each week on your favorite devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Dan Shulman, Terry Francona, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney, and the outstanding crew of Sunday Night Baseball here at Great American Ballpark. The Reds and Tigers. Heisey the batter, Votto on deck. Breaking ball for a strike.
Now the Tigers have tomorrow off, so that'll give their bullpen a little bit of a blow because they've been getting in there way too early.
Tigers on Tuesday head to Wrigley Field. Begin a series with the Cubs. That's where we'll be a week from tonight. The Red Sox and the Cubs. Sunday Night Baseball 1 week from tonight.
Fun place to watch a ball game.
Keep our fingers crossed. Hope the Cubs get hot between now and then. Start playing a little better ball.
Cubs beat Minnesota today. Ryan Dempster got the win. That's a name that's going to be out there come July. A lot of contenders will be interested in a veteran starting pitcher like Dempster.
He's got the character too to not melt down under pressure. He's been a closer, a good starter. He's really putting it together this year.
Dwayne Belo and Rick Porcello, who was a starter for the Tigers, are up right now in the pen.
Well, we talked a minute ago about them being thin and having to make some, do some maneuver, and obviously they are.
Dotel's got a bad elbow. Benoit and Valverde are the 8th, 9th inning guys when they've got a lead. They've both been pitching a lot lately. Koch's been pitching a lot lately. They might need Porcello.
They might be thinking about DL and Drew Smiley and bringing up a starter for Porcello's spot if he has to pitch a lot tonight. Just depends on what they're thinking.
We were under the impression Crosby was out there in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Yep. Dave Dombrowski's here in the ballpark. Saw him in there back in the food room when we were eating. Said hi. And there's always a lot of communication between the dugout and the general manager throughout the game if there are some moves that might need to be made, especially pitching ones when you get into these possible extra inning situations or go to the bullpen too early.
Joey Votto, the batter, takes inside, ball one. Back-to-back strikeouts for Villarreal this inning. Votto is mentioned on a 15-game hitting streak, but he's 0 for 3 tonight. 2010 National League MVP. Fouls it back, and Joey Votto, who is he? Where does he come from? Grew up an Etobicoke Ranger. Played for them for a number of years. Second-round pick in 2002. Spent 6 years in the minors. Not an overnight success. A guy with a great work ethic. Won the MVP 2 years ago and then signed that 10-year extension in April that will take him through 2023. A guy who, growing up in Canada, did not play much hockey at all. Played a little basketball, but baseball was always number one. Told us yesterday, I asked him, were you always a patient hitter? He said, no, but my first year in pro ball, I watched Barry Bonds a lot, and he was real still and quiet and selective at the plate, and I just decided to walk more. And now his on-base percentage is as good as anybody in baseball. He's not afraid to hit with 1 or 2 strikes on him. You've seen in this at-bat, he can be patient. He won't chase. It's one of the lowest chase percentages, as they call it, in baseball. Takes at the knees, 3-2.
But there's a lot of big league pitchers sitting at home watching this game that I would like to have Angel Hernandez behind the plate, getting those low strikes.
Chops it foul. John Farrell talked to you about Votto a few years ago, huh?
We were playing interleague, and he didn't have much time in the big league, so we just had some video. And he looked at me and he said, this is going to be one of the best hitters in the big leagues. And I looked at him, you know, we hadn't seen him play but one game. Boy, was he right on.
And the pitching coach with Boston, now the manager in Toronto.
But he had watched the video getting ready for our series, and he really liked what he saw.
Scorches a ball. Cabrera, wide throw, but out at first. As Votto was retired and is now 0 for 4 on the night. End of 7 in Cincinnati. The Reds up 6-3. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And in part by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And Hyundai. New thinking, new possibilities. Top 8 at Great American Ballpark here in the Queen City. The Reds leading the Tigers 6-3. Rubber match of this 3-game series. Ramon Santiago leads it off for the Tigers. And he takes ball 1 from Logan Ondrusek, who struck out Delman Young to finish off the 7th. Now we'll be asked to do some work here in the 8th inning in anticipation of a possible save situation for Aroldis Chapman. A left-hander who has electrified the fans here in Cincinnati with ridiculous numbers this year out of the pen. Santiago now credited with a base hit after the air was taken away from Brandon Phillips on that playback in the 4th inning. He'll be followed by Gerald Laird and then the pitcher spot in the 8th spot right now. And a leadoff walk. Speaking of Chapman, he is up in the pen.
He's throwing in earnest as far back, but you know, May 27th against Colorado, he went an inning and 2/3. Remember, this guy trained as a starter, so he can go 2-3 innings if they want to. But they'd like to keep him to an inning, but they're not afraid to go over an inning.
Now the Reds feel maybe the best thing that happened to him was the fact that he was trying for a spot in the starting rotation before all the bullpen injuries. So they stretched him out a little bit, and not only that, he had to throw more than just fastballs. He worked on his other pitches as well. Whatever he's done, it has been virtually unhittable. 30 innings this year. Gave up his first earned run of the season on Thursday against Pittsburgh. And 54 strikeouts. He is striking out over 16 batters per 9 innings. And I think Jose Reyes just said, that's just not fair, man. That's just not fair.
Not only does he throw hard, but he looks like he's stepping on top of you when he lets go of the ball. Tall, long arms. He's throwing 100.
Right-handed J.R. Richards.
That's a really good call.
Here's Laird.
Left-handed. Randy Johnson as a closer instead of a starter.
Chapman routinely high 90s, sometimes 100, 101. Laird fights it off and bloops it into center for a base hit. And here come the Tigers again. First 2 men are aboard in the 8th inning. The tying run will come to the plate. Pitcher spot due up. And it'll be Brennan Bosch, who was a late scratch from the starting lineup with a sore ankle that he suffered sliding at a home plate yesterday. And here comes Dusty with the lefty due up. Nobody out in the 8th inning.
Dusty hadn't signaled yet because he's given Chapman as many pitches as he can get, but here we go.
Aroldis Chapman coming on with nobody out in the 8th inning. And listen to how excited the crowd will get when he appears. Back in Cincinnati, the plot thickens. The Reds are up 6-3. The Tigers have 2 men on with nobody out, forcing Dusty Baker back to his bullpen again, where he's brought on the nearly unhittable this year, Aroldis Chapman. The left-hander's given up 1 earned run this season. Look at the opponent's batting average. They're 9 for 100 against him, but there are 6 outs to go in this game.
And Brennan Bosch has probably wondered what he did to deserve this.
Sore ankle, scratched, pinch hitter, facing Chapman, lefty on lefty. In the dirt at 100, ball 1. You can't help, even if you say to yourself, don't look at the radar gun, don't look at the radar gun. You just can't help but do it when this guy's pitching, and the fans do it every single pitch. But what's different this year for Chapman is his command has been so much better, and he's more acclimated to life in the U.S. that he's not just a radar gun curiosity. He's getting people out at a crazy rate. Smoked into right field, a base hit. Everybody up a base, and they are loaded with nobody out.
Tell you what, big league hitters can time a bullet, and that's about what they had to do right there. Brennan Bosch did a good job. Got himself a strike and a low fastball that he can put the head on. That ball's up. It's a lot harder to catch up to. Down there, just kind of dropped the bat on it.
Hernan Perez up from A ball yesterday because Johnny Peralta is on a paternity leave. His wife due to give birth to twins. So Perez up from Lakeland, got his first major league at bat yesterday, comes on to pinch run at ace, the potential tying run. Nobody out in the 8th. Here's Matt Young, another left-handed batter, came on in a double switch. Tigers running through their bench. If you're wondering why Bosch stayed and why Young has stayed, all they've got left on the bench is their backup catcher, Brian Holiday, and another left-handed batter in Don Kelly. Up and in at 100. 1-1, the count on Young. The Tigers, the lowest average in a Major League Baseball, with the bases loaded this year. Young trying to change that. 1-2. Lefties against Chapman, 4 for 34. 22 strikeouts this year. That's actually a higher batting average than righties have. But again, dominant against everybody. Gave up a base hit to Bosch, trying to minimize the damage here in the 8th.
You're behind the plate, you want to call fastball because you don't want to see him bounce a breaking ball here. Cost you a run.
He hit him. He grazed him with a fastball, and that forces in a run.
Well, you can hear the Tiger fans here, too. There's people on their feet cheering right now. I mean, that was a strange sound in a visiting ballpark. You get a hit batter, and then you get cheers. That shows you how many Tiger fans are here, and then
just grazed the jersey. The third hit batter tonight. 2 of them have barely nicked the jersey of a Tiger batter. Top of the order, Austin Jackson. It's 6-4.
Well, now they can tie this game with outs. They don't even need a hit. They just got to figure out a way to get the ball in play and get it to the outfield grass. Get it to an outfielder and just move the runner over on a fly ball to right. Score the run.
There's a lot of things all of a sudden that aren't looking good for the Reds. I mean, they're committed to their closer for 2 innings. He's got the bases loaded, nobody out.
You're going to sneak up to the heart of this Tiger order in a hurry.
Getting close to Cabrera in the fielder, too. 1-0, the count on Jackson is already homered in the game. A strike.
Terry, you and I have been on big league benches as players and as a coach, and you as a manager. You know what the Tigers are thinking right now? This could be the game that kickstarts the rest of our season. Nothing's gone right.
Oh, fair ball.
Yes, it has.
Scooped up by a fan. The double will score 2 and tie the game.
This is a moment for the Reds and for the Tigers that could be on the highlight reel either way, or a season changer. Austin Jackson coming back and puts another good swing, and this lights up the chalk.
And I think Jim Leland's thinking that they awarded their base runner home plate, and then Angel Hernandez overruled Tom Hallion, the third base umpire. One was pointing home, one was pointing to third.
I think the runner scores easy where that ball's headed, because they're playing him around to right field. Austin Jackson, because Aroldis Chapman is throwing 100 miles an hour,
and this is
he
good.
was playing way around.
They're going to get together, and at least this is good.
Tom Hallion's the third base umpire. He's also the crew chief. Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire. Typically in this situation, Tito, is it the home plate umpire who makes the call because he's got the view of the whole field?
That's again, he has the better view.
And this is a huge call, because that run might get stranded by a guy like Chapman on the mound. He could easily strike out the side with his stuff.
It is unusual for them to award home plate. The general call is 2 bases.
Well, I think it's the easy call, but I actually think the correct call would be to award him home plate.
This is not the bat boy. This is down in the corner, and it's going to be Ludwig running with his back to home plate, chasing that ball into the corner.
Long conversation.
Jim Leland's not going to like this.
No, it doesn't look that way, does it?
Is there any consideration, Tito, to you're in a visiting ballpark or a home ballpark, to which side gets the call? So they would say, oh, it's a Reds fan that caught the ball, they should be penalized?
No, I don't think you can do that. It's strictly about the game, and they got together. And again, I don't think I agree with the call, but I agree with them getting together.
Yeah.
And they don't have the replay like we do. But you're right, it's a huge run, because the way Chapman throws, he could very easily pitch out of this.
Right.
And as you see, the Reds are playing in. This is a lot of confidence in your pitcher.
Quinton Berry is the batter. Miguel Cabrera on deck, then Prince Fielder. The Tigers have tied it with Chapman on the mound here in the 8th inning, and still nobody out. The moment that Dusty Baker went to his bullpen, which has been the best bullpen in baseball this year, is the moment things started unraveling for the Reds tonight. Arredondo couldn't get an out. Marshall couldn't get an out.
And if Barry can just put it in play, because the Reds have played the infield in so aggressively, he's got a chance to get something by the infield, which will score 2. Oh, and you don't want to pitch around this guy to get to the next guy.
Lost him on 4 pitches. Chapman's given up a single. He's hit a batter, then a double, now a walk, and here comes Dusty again. The lead is gone. The bases are loaded. There's still nobody out. And now Cabrera and Fielder are coming up.
Looked like Dusty said, when you throw strikes, big fella, nobody can hit you. You're just giving them some confidence to get the ball over the plate, trust your stuff. And if there's any stuff in the world to be trusted, it's this guy's.
And the infield will most likely play at a depth where they can get the force at the plate and then maybe even go to first.
Here's Cabrera. Bases loaded, nobody out, 3 runs in to tie it. Infield in for the Reds. Ball 1.
I feel like the Reds are playing this like this is the 9th inning instead of the 8th, the way they're playing defense.
Well, they're very aggressive in, and with being the force out at the plate, they don't have to be this far in.
Strike on the inside corner, 1-1. Chapman gave up his first earned run of the season Thursday. He's already given up another here tonight, and all 3 runners on are his. Bounced in, heading to the backstop, and the go-ahead run scores.
I think it was a 1-1 changeup. 87 miles an hour on the gun or so. And it just gets away. And in some ways, with Prince Fielder on deck being left-handed, this was the Tigers' shot with Cabrera up there. This ball is like a little slider.
You can hear the chant easily in this ballpark of "Let's go Tigers." A lot of Detroit fans here for the weekend. Out of play, 2-2 on Cabrera.
And Oral made the point earlier about if the Tigers can come back and win this game, it can be one of those types of games you look back on. There's a lot of life in that dugout right now. I mean, not only coming back, but who they came back against.
Yep. Gives you a lot of hope in the rest of your games. Like nothing, you're never dead. And they're doing it with spare parts. They're going from their starting pitcher, who's a puppy at 22 years old, and Drew Smiley, coming out with a blood blister, going into their bullpen too early. Got Porcello, one of their future starters, the next few days up in the bullpen in case. They're climbing back to a lead. They get the bases loaded. They got to face Chapman, and now they're up 7-6.
And he hasn't been able to get it out. He's faced 4 batters. Hit 1, walked 1, and 2 hits. Terrific play. Phillips thought about trying to race to second for an out, but instead will get Cabrera for the first out of the inning.
He's flashing the Gold Glove right there. That ball comes in at 100, goes out at about 110, and he is reacting right here. Boom! Off the mound, reads the hop, the presence of mind to check the runner, and nice smooth throw to first.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN from Cincinnati. The Tigers have scored 4 runs here in the top of the 8th inning to take a 7-6 lead in what has been the roughest performance of the season to date for Aroldis Chapman. Just got his first out. Dusty Baker had to churn through his bullpen. Relievers weren't getting outs in key matchups. Chapman coming on with nobody out in the 8th inning. Now facing Prince Fielder. 4 runs in, second and third, 1 out, infield in for Fielder.
And now maybe look for contact at third base if this ball's put in play.
And don't think Jim Leland doesn't think this is a big run at third base or even at second base. You're going from scoring against the best bullpen with the best ERA in the Reds, and now you have to put a tired Detroit bullpen in the game to try and shut them down. They have the 13th best ERA at 4.19 in their bullpen.
The 0-2. Ooh. Chased a high fastball and somehow got a piece of it to foul it off. I got to see that again.
I thought he almost got hit by the pitch, and all of a sudden the bat's coming through.
Well, 0-2 and 100 miles an hour on the mound. You're in swing mode. Last 3 pitches have all been at or over 100. 102 at the knees, 2 down.
Well, now that little wild pitch pass ball that scored the run is huge. They get a big out with Cabrera. He punches out Prince. And now he could have been pitching out of this in a tie game right here against Delman Young. Cheese at the knees.
Fielder retired for the second out. The infielders going to back up. The batter was Delman Young. You talk about baseball being a game of inches. It's one of the most common phrases in the game. Austin Jackson pulls the ball down the left field line, just a couple of inches fair for a 2-run double. That's the big hit in this inning. Out of play off to the right. A very successful second night off the DL for Austin Jackson with a home run in the 5th inning and the 2-run double here in the 8th. And a busy inning for Chapman. The lead is gone. He's thrown 25 pitches this inning. Gave up his first earned run of the season Thursday. He's given up 2 earned runs here tonight. Mesoraco almost had to look into his glove to assure himself he had that ball.
This is Dusty Baker's worst nightmare. He's got his closer thrown 26 pitches at the 8th inning. You've lost the lead.
Phillips, inning over. But the Tigers get 4. And they've got the lead. And are among more than 20 MLB stars to visit the MLB Fan Cave already this season. Watch MLB Fan Cave player videos and stay up to date on the latest cave happenings by visiting MLBFancave.com. Follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave on Facebook. What a game. What a game tonight in Cincinnati. The Tigers with 4 and now lead 7-6 going to the bottom of the 8th, and a whole slew of changes for Detroit. Matt Young moves from second base to left field. Hernan Perez, up from A-ball yesterday, came on as a pinch runner tonight, is now, it will stay in the game at second base, and the new pitcher is Joaquin Benoit. So Delman Young is out of the game. Benoit, terrific setup man, great changeup, throwing hard this year, mid-90s, facing Brandon Phillips to begin the bottom of the 8th. Phillips gets a bunt down. It's rolling foul.
If that stays fair, it's a base hit with any third baseman, but they are trying to pick on Miguel Cabrera down there at third. He's back guarding no doubles down the line, a little bit deep. Brandon Phillips takes a shot, and just the spin keeps it from being a hit.
Crowd getting re-energized after a disheartening top of the 8th inning for the Reds fans here. The Tigers fans, and there are plenty of them, they loved it. As they got to Aroldis Chapman, he gave up 2 inherited runs and then 2 of his own. And the Tigers lead 7-6. It'll be Phillips, Bruce, and Ludwig, 4, 5, and 6 here in bottom 8. Cabrera guarding the line at third, to say the least. Change up, down and in.
One more point about that bunt. That's the way you bunt for a hit. It's a base hit or it's foul. One of the worst things you can do as a hitter at Brandon Phillips' ability is to bunt that ball and not get that excess angle on it, because you don't want to bunt it back to the pitcher, and you don't want to bunt it in a place where he can field and throw you out. You want a base hit or you just want to strike.
One. Chases a slider down and away. He's got 3+ pitches, doesn't he, Tito?
Yes, he does, and he's just as tough on left-handers because of the off-speed pitches.
The thing that turned Joaquin Benoit's career around, made him a great reliever, and started to be a pretty good starter, was the cut fastball. He'd always had mistakes up, but once he started cutting the ball a little bit into lefties, that really got him on track.
Change up, fouled off. So now it's set up, if all goes well for the Tigers, for Benoit here in the 8th inning. And then Valverde in the 9th. Jim Leland checking out that scorecard there. There aren't that many options left. And there's Valverde. Papa Grande.
Throwing better of late, Dan.
Yes.
Throwing better of late.
Started the year slowly, now getting back to himself. Didn't blow a save all of last year. Ooh, you could see the flinch. Angel Hernandez thought about it. Just missed outside.
Nice call.
It's been an interesting night. A busy night for Angel Hernandez.
I think the changeup's feeling pretty good in his hands. I think he might see one right here.
Long throw coming. In time with a great stretch at first by Prince Fielder.
Tell you what, that's a nice play. That's a long throw. And Prince, ouch.
I'll tell you what, Detroit has had some issues with turning balls that are hit into fair territory into outs. They're the lowest in the big leagues, but they got it right there. And Prince, with that effort, helped in a big way.
Great play by Fielder. Good throw by Santiago. Now Jay Bruce. Couple of walks and a fly out tonight. The shift is on. 3 on the right side against the left-handed hitting Bruce. Oh, and 2. See Santiago playing on the right field side of second base. Perez playing him to pull and out on the outfield grass. And a lot of room over on the left side. Cabrera a lonely guy. On the appeal, he didn't go. Boy, this doesn't feel like a June game. You know what? There's a lot of intensity
happening.
For Dusty, this game probably feels like it's been going on for months. Started awfully well for the Reds, not so much lately.
We've had Dusty up here in the booth, Terry. He's worked up here. Right about now, he's probably thinking it's a little easier up here.
To right field, it'll get down for a base hit. And the Reds have the tying run on with 1 out of the bottom of the 8th. Coming up next on Sports Center with Linda Cohn and Bram Weinstein, why Kevin Durant once wanted to quit basketball. He's the Sunday Conversation. Members of the original Dream Team share some golden memories and the upset of the day brewing on the College Diamond. Bottom 8, Tigers 7, Reds 6, Sunday Night Baseball. Bruce at first, 1 out. Ryan Ludwig 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a double play ball, and they got the rally caps working. Slider outside, ball 1.
Ryan Ludwig has a unique way of having some iffy at bats and then taking one really good swing.
Low strike again, 1-1.
And we've said it already tonight a few times. Ryan Ludwig is a low ball hitter. He loves that low pitch. So when he takes it, in his mind's eye, it's too low.
One from Benoit. On the outside corner, 1-2. Ryan Ludwig has had no fun, not a single second of fun since this game began.
It started early, and it's still going on.
Still got a strike.
Bruce, the tying run at first. Got it. 2 down. Meanwhile, activity in the Cincinnati pen. 2 right-handers have been throwing. That's Alfredo Simon, and no longer going by the pronunciation of Alfredo Simone that he went by to Baltimore. J.J. Hoover was up as well, not throwing at the moment. Aroldis Chapman threw 27 pitches in the 8th inning. But look who it is for the Reds. If you're a Reds fan, this might be the #1 guy you want to see at the plate right now. Todd Frazier tonight has singled and homered and driven in 4. He's got 7 RBIs in the series, and he's had a knack for coming up with key hits at key times for Cincinnati.
And Detroit's in a defense where they're so deep where they want it to be 2 hits to score this run.
0-2. Benoit's making some pitches.
He sure is. He's in a bandbox where he knows a hard fly ball can cost him the game. And he is making some good pitches down around the knees. And when he throws his changeup, he is not hanging it. He's keeping it down, and he's giving it some action. There it is again. Good bite on it down there. He's gotten a ground ball that Prince made a nice play on and stretched with that changeup. He's pitched with it, and he's used it to get some outs. He's got that nice slider away he's thrown, and he's commanding his fastball down there by the shins. Here comes the slider away.
Well, Frazier must be seeing the ball pretty well. The changeup he took is the same spot that Ludwig swung at it, and he didn't bite on that slider either.
It's a big pitch right here. You don't want to get the 3-2 where the runner's running, then the same double or ball that you give up on a 2-2 count. It doesn't score him right here.
Fouls it off.
I always felt like it was more important to throw the strike in the 2-2 than it was in the 3-2. Give up a hit here and not score that run. 3-2, that walk, instead of throwing a mistake and giving up a double, scores the run. Still got a chance to get somebody else out.
In the dirt, and the runner will advance.
Remember Todd Frazier fouled off the ball on the slider, the bat before, and then he hits the home run? Well, he's ground this at bat into forcing Joaquin Benoit to throw that wild pitch. He has been fouling off and fighting off pitches, and Joaquin said, I got to throw one better, and it made him overthrow that and put that runner into scoring position.
A one-out single by Bruce. The wild pitch advances him to second, 2 down, full count. Fans on their feet in Cincinnati. Got him. Frazier strikes out. The tying run left aboard, and we're at the end of 8 in Cincinnati, and the Tigers clinging to a 1-run lead. Tonight's aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. What a game here tonight. A 7-6 lead for the Tigers over the Reds as we go to the top of the ninth. The pivotal inning in this game, the top of the eighth, when the Tigers scored 4 runs. First batter rolled as Chapman faced Brandon Bosch with a base hit that loaded the bases. Then Matt Young hit by a pitch just grazed to force in a run. Austin Jackson with a double down the left field line, just fair to score 2 runs. And then a wild pitch brought in the 4th run. 2 of the runs charged to Chapman. Just the 2nd and 3rd earned runs he's given up this year. And with those runs went the lead. The Tigers have the lead. Top 9, 7-6. Miguel Cairo is on at third base now for the Reds. And the new pitcher, Alfredo Simon. Again, no longer going by the name Simone, which was the way he pronounced it when he was with the Orioles. Now Simon. Some very strong numbers with the Reds this year. Ramon Santiago with a bouncer to second. Easy play, 1 down. If it all holds up, Chapman will get the loss here tonight. And again, statistically, Cincinnati came into this game tonight with the best ERA, the best bullpen ERA in baseball this year. Arredondo faced 1 batter, he walked him. Marshall faced 1 batter, gave up a hit. Andrusic 2 earned runs in a third of an inning, and then Chapman gave up a couple of runs as well. The batter, Gerald Laird. And again, the low strike. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth. Mesoraco, Cairo now hitting in the 9 spot after the double switch, and then the leadoff hitter Kozar coming up for Cincinnati. Presumably against, Jose Valverde. So the fun and games ain't over yet, boys.
Gyrations will abound.
Fly ball center field. 2 down. Sports Center comes your way at the conclusion of this game here tonight. With Linda Cohn and Bram Weinstein. 2 down, top of the 9, Tigers 7, Reds 6. Been a great series. A 1-run win in extra innings for the Reds Friday. A 1-run win for the Tigers yesterday. A 1-run lead in the 9th for the Tigers tonight. 2nd career game, 2nd major league at bat for Hernan Perez. The chopper toward third, kind of a carbon copy of what he did yesterday, but he beats this one out, and that'll be his first big league hit. Assuming that's the way it's scored, and it certainly should be. And that ball's being tossed into the Tiger dugout. Cairo gave it all he had, skipped the throw over. Perez safe at first, and that's his first major league base hit.
Now let's see if he can get his first major league stolen base.
Two down, Matt Young. So here's the difference between American League ball and National League ball. Matt Young begins the game on the bench, comes on in a double switch at second base, faces Aroldis Chapman, now is in left field. He's only been in the game for 2 innings.
And that's why those types of players are so valuable, especially in the National League. You can carve out a nice career. If you can play multiple positions, you can make yourself really important on a ball club.
You don't have to hit for very high average. If you can get your sacrifice bunt down, if you can hit and run, if you can drive the runner in from third with less than 2 outs, just handle the bat and play some positions well.
Just being able to move around the diamond gives a manager almost an extra player. And in the National League, it's so important.
You won't sit very long in the National League either, because it's every night you need somebody like that.
Perez being held on by Votto, 2 down in the top of the 9th. In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. The Reds led 3-0 at the end of 3, 6-2 at the end of 6. The Tigers got 1 back in the 7th and then 4 in the top of the 8th. Two and 2. Homer Bailey started for the Reds when 6 2/3 gave up 3 runs. Looked like he was going to get a win until the bullpen, piece by piece, came undone here tonight for Dusty Baker. They just could not get the outs. Runner goes. And the pitch swung on and missed to end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th in Cincinnati. The Reds down a run. Papa Grande ready to go to work. It'll be Jose Valverde to face Mesoraco, Cairo, and Cozart when we come back. One week from tonight, Sunday Night Baseball comes your way from Wrigley Field in Chicago. It'll be the Red Sox and the Cubs, 8 Eastern, here on ESPN. Well, what a game it has been tonight. An unbelievable number of twists and turns in this game.
And it's not over.
And it's not over. Jose Valverde, although his oral set pitched much better of late, started the season slowly. Blew 3 saves early, 11 for 14 now. Perfect last year. Did not blow a save. 49 of 49 last year. He'll face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. He'll go through all of his routine and his gyrations and his superstitions.
Well, and the biggest move he's going to have to make is a good strong leg kick. Early on in the year when he was struggling a little bit, had trouble with his location, getting his balls to bite. He went to a higher leg kick, and that gave his arm some more time to get out front. And now he's getting it down, and he's got good action.
There's Devin Mesoraco, the rookie catcher, hitting .203. He has homered already in this game and is 2 for 3 overall.
And if he can find his way on base, you got a guy on deck in Miguel Cairo that can bunt, that can hit and run, handles the bat. There are a lot of options. It'll get interesting. But he's got to get his way on base.
Missed outside, a ball and a strike. Mesoraco, fourth inning, facing Luis Marte with a no doubt about it shot into the second deck and left.
He gets on, you'll probably see a pinch runner. That'll make it even more interesting.
And time requested by Mesoraco. Valverde is never in a hurry. Right there for a strike, 1-2.
That's pretty crisp right there. 93 at the knees. He likes to pick out who he's going to get out to. He doesn't have the 1, 2, 3 innings very often. He likes to work his way through the lineup and find his outs. But in this ballpark, boy, you got to attack some people.
And just in the interest of providing the information, Joey Votto's due up 5th this inning. Swing and a miss. He got him, one down. Elevated at 94.
Big out. That's a huge out.
A fastball away, and then he runs the fastball in. This pitch right here at 1-1 sets it up. Now you have to respect that outside corner, and when you start leaning out there like you see right there, then you can beat him up and in, or even up and down the middle. Because of the pitch before, you got to guard the outside corner with the breaking ball and the fastball. Lean a little in, sneak it by you.
Now Miguel Cairo, the 38-year-old, on Friday night tripled in the 10th inning and scored the winning run on a squeeze. A strike. Valverde looking for save at number 12. If it holds up, Villarreal would get the win. Chapman would take the loss. 0-2. How much does a manager age in a game like this, win or lose?
More if you lose. I mean, somebody's going to have to get on a flight tonight and where? I mean, this is whoever loses this game is going to feel it. When you use your closer and your setup guys and you lose, it seems like it stings a little bit more. You get to the guys you want to, and then you give it up, it hurts.
Do you think National League managers grind on games more than American League managers because every night there's a few more moves where they feel like they could have affected the game too?
Yeah, I think you got to be careful in the National League. You can burn out your bullpen. They're getting guys up because their pitcher's coming up and maybe they're going to get in the game. I think you got to be careful.
Cairo battling, one out, nobody on, bottom of the ninth, 7-6 Tigers. Again the 0-2, up and in.
And on the American League side, the only reason you really take a pitcher out is fatigue or he's not doing well. So you really can be second guessed on that one spot. You know, there's no wiggle room.
There's no natural progression.
In the National League, though, there's a couple combinations of reasons to do things.
Right, exactly.
So you can kind of get pinned into a corner in the American League a little bit more.
I mean, if you're down, you know, you get to the 6th, 7th inning, you got to pinch hit. Even if a guy's throwing well, you got to score.
Missed down and away. 2-2 on Cairo. Numbers notwithstanding, he'll always give you a professional at bat. He's up there knowing exactly what it is he's trying to do. Has been around, played on a lot of good teams.
And he's got a lot of respect by the people he's played with.
Yeah. At the tail end of his career right now.
Guys like this, you hope, stay in the game when they are done playing.
2-2. Ground ball down to third. Scooped up by Cabrera for the second out.
Jose Valverde's been painting with his fastball away, and he kind of went away from that with these last 3 pitches right here. Just kind of gets away from him, and then he kind of missteps on this changeup or breaking ball and didn't like the mechanics, but then he comes back and he just gets it down there and just trusts the movement. Gets himself a jam shot down to third, and they're playing pretty good defense tonight for as much as they've been told that they're not playing defense. Cabrera's done a nice job at third, Santiago at short, and Fielder at first have made some nice plays.
So the Reds down to their final out. It's leadoff man Zach Kozar, 2 for 4 with a home run tonight. A 4-run top of the 8th inning. All of the runs scoring with Aroldis Chapman on the mound. 2 of them charged to him.
Really good, solid work by Homer Bailey. Kind of forgotten.
And he had bat by Brennan Bosch.
Yeah.
No, first and second, nobody out. They bring in Chapman, and he scorches that ball into right field to get bases loaded. That gets overlooked a little bit later. That was a heck of an at-bat.
There for a strike, 0-2. All those Tiger fans who have spent the weekend here in Cincinnati, a strike away from seeing their team win 2 out of 3 and win 2 in a row for just the second time in their last 48 games. Pops him up. And the Tigers win it. Save number 12 for Jose Valverde. But tonight's Chevrolet player of the game is Austin Jackson. A home run, and then later on the 2-run double off Aroldis Chapman. The big hit in the 4-run top of the 8th inning as the Tigers overcome a late deficit and win the game 7-6 to take 2 out of 3 from the Cincinnati Reds here at Great American Ballpark this weekend. So the Tigers now 28-32. The Reds fall into a first place tie in the National League Central with the Pirates. The final score.